What's going on, everybody? Welcome to D&D Monday. As always, we are getting ready for our Tyranny of Dragons campaign. Just a couple quick announcements. Not a lot today, actually. Arcade King, I believe I caught him on the Saturday stream, but I'm not sure. So, Arcade King 030, thank you very much for the follow while we were away. Other than that, big announcement. Wednesday is Civil War Empire, so hope to see you there. 7:30 Eastern Time. They will be picking up from Toledo. They are now facing a spectral image in basically a shrine or a temple, and they will be heading out from there, so I hope to see you there. Other than that, that is about it. I'm gonna check real quick. I believe we're about ready to go, and then we will drop into our game. Alright, yeah, I think we're ready here.
Alright, Forge, if you want to go ahead and give us our recap to last session, we'll get going.
Sure. One sec. Alright, so last week, after having quite a bit of a headache the week prior with the party that we stumbled across, this time we took things a little bit differently and quickly learned that we can't just rush in and try to attack everything that's in front of us. So we found a very, very large encampment by a cave, filled with a little bit of everything: mercenaries, dragon cultists, kobolds. Decided that we were going to play it differently. We devised a plan to free Leosin from captivity, who we found was right over by a big tent that was heavily guarded. The party sent Stone Skull and Arun over to the entry to kind of blend in, get some information, and scout the place, while Max and Steve devised their plan to get Leosin out and use Terra as the method of escape and diversion. Stone Skull quickly blended in with the mercenaries, attempted to get them wasted as quickly as possible, while Max and Steve waited until nightfall. Once nightfall hit, they immediately moved into action, dropping Steve down into the area of the encampment to free Leosin. Once he was freed, the party started letting out all their distractions. Tara, using Earthen Grasp, created a big distraction, which was unexpected by the party in the cave, and Arun dropped the guard tower to the far east of the encampment to create an even bigger distraction and throw everybody off. As we made our escape from the pit, what is his name? Lingradosa and his entourage made their way out of the giant tent in the encampment and trying to scout everything that was going on. But fortunately, the party made their escape and they're on their way back to Greenest. And we have some new friends that we are going to run into at some point.
Since y'all made such a big deal of it, yes, there may be recurring characters at some point. I don't know. All right, so you have escaped the camp of this group of bandits and mercenaries and cult of the dragon members and made your way back to Greenest with an unconscious, kind of catatonic Leosin in tow. You make it back to Greenest proper. You're able to find the monkey that you previously set out of, and he offers to take Leosin to let him rest for a few days and recover. Best healers will be on it and such, so you have no real worries about him getting back to a clean bill of health, essentially. He does let you know that it'll be a couple days probably before Leosin is able to talk and maybe shed some light on how he got into that predicament and maybe anything he learned while he was there. As you kind of wander around the first day, getting back kind of midday or so, a day or so later after leaving the camp. The governor, Nighthill, has really nothing for you to do. There you see there's a lot of rebuilding going on, a lot of resupplying. A lot of people have been left without a lot of their valuables and such. So they're kind of wandering around, looking to set out to other places to maybe rebuild their wealth and things of that nature. If there's anything you would like to seek out or do, it's going to be about 2 days or so before you could question Leo's and possibly so. The floor is yours, party. What do you want to do?
I want to help with cleanup and like first aid, basically like kind of disaster relief during the day, and then entertain whoever is in need of entertaining, lift spirits at night, pubs, tavern, things like that.
All right. Give me a performance check.
Pretty good at that.
Oh dear. All right, there's day one. You have a good group of soldiers and different villagers around coming to see one of the heroes of Greenest, and you offer to play a whistling jig for them. And unfortunately, you discover your voice has gone croak for a little while, and you're unable to really give anything to them. Give me one word for day two. All right.
That's a little better.
Second day, a little bit better at it this time. Got your chops warmed up. You're able to also a few tunes that you remember. You're not really sure why you remember them, but they're very epic in their performance. You feel like there's more meaning to them as you go through these, not sonnets, ballads, something of that nature. Go ahead and take a point of inspiration for this session for that cute little thing into your character there.
I actually wrote like a poem for it.
Oh, well.
Oh yeah,
In that
let's
case,
do it.
All right. Yeah, no, let's do it for do you have just one poem or do you have multiples here?
Just one.
Just one.
So
Okay.
far.
All right, we'll just do it for the second day. You come fully prepared. So let's go ahead and hear that.
Nice. I thought it was pretty good. So strangers well met upon first glance, a motley crew, none stranger than the last. Fate, it seems, sent them down this path, for Greenest, my friends, was under attack. Columns of smoke, flame, and ash inhaled the people, immolated their past. We fought tooth and nail, blade and bow, slayed many a wretch and their masters in tow. We saved who we could, yet some souls were set free, all in the name of some bitch dragon's greed. So now they flee like cowards and scum back deep into the holes from which they came from. There they will hoop and holler with glee, feeling delighted to have pleased their queen. That is not, however, how this story ends, for they have forgotten those road-weary friends. Their evil and arrogance shall be met with steel, fire, stone, and regret. For on the day we meet again, those innocent who were slain will be halved in twain by those who remain and remember what happened in Greenest.
Well done.
Excellent. Yes, 100% take a point of inspiration for that. That was great.
Thank
Max
you.
can spit fire. Yeah.
I got bars.
Literally and figuratively.
Right?
That was nice. Very good, sir.
I appreciate it. I'm gonna do that for like milestones, like big things that happen.
Recaps.
It's excellent. All right, back to push to talk. Now I don't have to clap. And music. All right, start music back up again. I want it to be nice. I wanted you to have the floor for that. So,
I want to pick out music next time. Or something
oh,
in the back.
nice. Yeah, just let me know what it is, or
It's going to be
whatever.
X going to give it to you.
The Busta Rhymes.
All right, so Max has spent his time, helping the people of Greenest and entertaining them to the best of his ability. Hey, Rune, what have you been doing these last 2 days?
I think most of my efforts during the day would be going into research, about the cult or like the dragons in general. and then at so equal like parts spent there, and then
Watch out.
probably trying to look over the castle fortifications, kind of like comparing them against Candlekeep and seeing what could be done.
Okay. Give me a knowledge check. I think you're proficient in that.
Knowledge.
Is it knowledge or is it something else? I can't remember.
Knowledge is
Intelligence?
not as too specified. Like,
Yeah.
that's 3-5.
History. That's what I
Yeah,
was
history.
thinking. History. Give me a history check.
Me.
Okay.
Mhm.
What are you looking into exactly? Like, give me some more specifics of what you're searching for here.
I mean, we don't really know anything about who they're trying to bring back yet, not officially. So I imagine that's kind of where it would be going. Is like, are we able to find any clues about, the type of dragon that they're worshiping, or potentially even like other mechanisms they need to enact?
Okay. Let's see. Let me look at your sheet again. Give me an insight check with advantage. Excellent. All right. So, as you kind of go around, you request Governor Nightail to inform you where books of knowledge regarding to this cult of dragon or just dragons in general may be. He shows you a very modest collection of a few books. As you search them, though, you do see mention of the cult of the dragon within one of them. It's not very long; it's barely a chapter long, but it does talk about this very fanatical cult that, for the longest time, has been, or in the past, where this book was referencing, were very focused on resurrecting and creating undead dragons. They always did it under the service of their queen, but that was never really figured out why or who that was. A lot of speculation between the queen of dragons overall, a demigod called Tiamat, but never anything conclusive was found. You do see in the text at the very end of the chapter something that someone who had snuck into one of the cult's camps and become one of their number for a short time had discovered a few things that they did to basically express their loyalty and show that, the kind of a gang sign, if you will, but for this cult. On this picture, you see two different depictions of a hand, of a person's right hand, rather.
Do they match what I saw last session?
They do match exactly what you saw, and there's a little bit of a description, kind of a synopsis down at the bottom of these pictures. It shows when the cultists extend their right hand with fingers outstretched, it's to represent the 5 heads of Tiamat when they praise her glory. You see the other one with 2 fingers down. It says the other curl back 2 fingers to show that Tiamat's strength is hidden. And kind of etched into the bottom there below that, it says the real fanatics use this sign instead of the all 5 fingers outspread.
Excellent.
Okay. Steve, what have you been doing these 2 days?
I'm gonna look around town, make sure there's no secret ways for the cult to sneak back in and wreak any more havoc, and then enjoy Max's performance on day 2, not day 1. I'm avoiding day 1.
Okay, so you're kind of checking around the city, in the city. Where exactly are you kind of looking for things?
Around the city.
All right, give me a perception check. All right, now give me an insight check with advantage. All right, so as you kind of venture around, you notice, kind of what you assumed before and were able to see as you were originally approaching Greenest. This place is not well fortified. The only kind of place that's fortified at all is the keep located in the center of the village. There's multiple roads leading in and out. They all kind of converge into roads leading to the west, the east, and the north. Some small dirt paths leading to the south that you kind of followed along to follow the group that was at the camp. You see that this place still could very well be attacked fairly easily, especially in their kind of weakened state with no monetary funds to rebuild and maybe fortify the village proper, as Governor Nighthill mentioned that he wanted to. You're able to get some ideas, ways to easily cut down local lumber and things of that nature to help fortify the area at low cost. It would just take some manpower. And you kind of spread that to Governor Nighthill. Give me a persuasion check. Nice. So as you bring these findings back to Governor Nighthill, talking about how, with your knowledge of different villages and different towns that you've been to, these are the kind of ways that they've defended them with walls or, kind of spiked walls where they interlace them together. You kind of give him the idea of all this and give it off to him. And he agrees that it wouldn't take much. And he actually sends a few soldiers out to begin work on this. And they work on it for both the days that you are within Greenest.
Sweet.
And you enjoyed the second day rendition of Max's performance for the town thoroughly. Stone Skull, what have you been doing?
Well, I'm feeling a little bad about breaking the cage when we were going through the little tunnel, so I'm gonna fix that on the first day.
Okay.
I like it.
Let's see. Stone Skull. How in the world would you fix a door? Kind of blast it off the hinges. All right, give me.
You just tear us up.
We're just gonna find a big rock in the way.
Just plop a rock right in front of it. Be done.
Give me an insight check at disadvantage to see if you even know how you could fix this logically.
Oh,
Absolutely not.
Not. All right. Now give me a perception check.
See if he recognizes that. Hey, oh, there we go.
All right, that's high enough. All right. So initially, you kind of look at this gate that was on here, and like I said, wrought iron, crisscrossed in kind of squares, was blocking it off. That's obviously laying on the ground in front of the passageway that it was blocking off. Initially, you're like, well, I can't fix that. So you start looking around for a rock or something to set in front of it, since you could probably lift that fairly easily. However, as you're kind of looking around, you notice some of the links that were broken off the hinges, and give me another insight check as you see those.
Insight. Oh.
Nice. Okay, there you go. All right. So as you see these broken hinges and bolts that were making up and constructing the hinges on the gate that you broke apart, you notice how these are beyond your ability to recreate or fix in such a way that you could remake the door, but you have the knowledge and the insight to know that, hey, you could find a metal worker of some kind and say, hey, this happened. Think you could fashion something here and tell me how to assemble it. So you're able to do that and bring back the pieces and everything, and with very detailed and not written out instructions, since you couldn't read them anyway. You're able to come back and give me a sleight of hand check. Okay. The door is hanging upright. It doesn't open real well. Kind of creaks and shifts up and down for some reason. You can't really figure out why. But it does shut. It doesn't match the lock anymore, unfortunately. So you just kind of tie some rope around it and call it a day.
That sounds right. And then I'd like to help the people of the town to fix up some of their houses.
Okay. Give me a persuasion check.
Persuasion? But why?
Do I give you advantage? Yeah, I think I do. So this lumbering hulk of a man comes walking up to these village people that are reassembling their barn to the north of Greenest, and comes up and offers to help them. Initially, they're kind of frightened at this large, tattooed, very burly-looking man who looks like he could have been part of the bandits that destroyed their city. But his childlike demeanor and natural charisma, I guess. I'm digging here, guys. Somehow convinces him, and he's able to go through and help these people with some of their heavier loads. Can't do any kind of the finite charisma quotes. You're able to help it up. Take a point of shit.
Inspiration.
Yes,
All
that.
right.
God, for helping the people there when you're nat 20 roll on that.
All right.
Tara, what have you been doing?
Eating. Hold on one second.
That's funny.
All right, sorry. I was following that bite. All right, day number 1. I want to attempt to purchase some health potions in the quantity of 2, or a healer's kit from like an apothecary or something. I'm blind. I have no idea where it is, but I'm gonna walk around and look.
Oh, I could
All right.
use.
What are you looking for exactly?
I want to purchase some health potions and a healer's kit.
Okay. Give me a perception check at disadvantage.
Holy shit.
All right. Give me an insight check. Okay. Trying to order my thoughts here of how this is going to go down.
Those -2 rolls, though.
And give me a d20 roll, please. Okay. All right. That's a thing. All right. So, Tara, as you decide not to enlist any help in trying to locate these items, since you didn't mention it, you set out on your own.
I couldn't find them. I didn't know where they went.
They disappeared doing their own things. You heard some music in the background and some other stuff going around, and didn't really figure out where they were. So you set out and start walking the streets. You're able to keep to the streets at least because you're able to tell the difference between the hard packed ground versus the soft soil of the grass in the area. As you walk around, you find somebody with a very confident gait as they walk, and you approach them. Initially, you request, hey, I'm looking for a healer's kit and some magic potions that would be able to heal people. Kind of mention offhandedly at first that you were part of the group that helped save Greenus and the monastery and the mill and such. And this guy seems like he knows what he's talking about. Says, yeah, sure, I can help you with at least one of those things. So he takes you off, and as you approach one of the buildings in the area, you don't really want to enter it, but he insists so you do. Don't really get much of a sense of the area since you're standing on wood, but you do smell the aroma of different flowers and different herbs of different kinds. Give me a nature check.
Big money.
You don't recognize any of these. Some are kind of sweet. You smell a few things that are very bitter. Nothing you really recognize, unfortunately. After going through the same spiel, you hear a light woman's voice talking to the man and addressing you as well, asking about a few things. And she says, yeah, I can get you something that'll help with healing and such. You will get 2 healer's kits to add to your inventory from this. However, you are unable to find anybody that's selling any kind of potions. Doesn't seem to be a very prominent practice within Greenest.
Okay. I'm gonna ask her how much it is. Like how much?
She insists that for one of the heroes of Greenest, even though she kind of looks at you and blind girl and such, and I'd imagine you kind of point outside and where you feel the earth once again and raise some of it out of the ground and mold it to your will. And with that, she says, you know what? For someone that helped save this town, they're on the house. Take them for free.
I'm gonna insist. No, I insist. How much are they? Let me pay you for your work.
All right, one sec. I don't know how much healers kits are normally. She says, well, at the very least, let me give you a discount. I normally charge around 5 gold for these, but I'll charge you half price, so only 2.5 gold. We'll just round it down to 2 for you.
Okay. I'm going to not on purposely way overpay her because I cannot see how much money I'm giving her. So I'm going to give her like 10 gold.
Give me wait, if you're gonna do this, give me another insight check.
Oh,
Nat
Oh,
20.
You know
yeah.
exactly how many it is.
Yeah, you know exactly. You get out the silver and are able to tell the difference in weight and texture of the silver. You give her exactly 2.5 golds worth of money.
all right.
Nice try.
It was a nice try. The dice said, "Nah, you're paying her what she's telling." All
Or you
right.
could look at the inside being you understand how much this means to the keep, the shopkeep.
Yeah, it's kind of like did y'all ever watch the really crappy Daredevil movie where he had like his money folded in different ways? So it's like you kind of do that. You know the texture of gold pieces. Know they have a different face on them that's engraved in and such like that. So you're able to tell the difference in.
I'm
not
apparently
budgets.
really good at being blind.
I mean, you've been
You've
this
been
way
that way
your
for a
whole
while.
life. So
I hope you're
Alright.
good at it by now.
That was day 1, right?
Wait, I want to finish off day one by getting hammer slammed at the tavern.
Alrighty. Okay. Give me a Constitution saving throw.
I'm actually good at those.
Yeah,
Holy shit.
you are. So yeah, you're able to.
We almost had one too many.
Yeah, almost. Not quite enough to set you over the edge, though. You remember most of the night, the sounds and the sensations and the smells of partying with everyone, but everyone was absolutely down to drink with one of the heroes of Greenest, and bought you a few drinks, but you did end up spending about 3 gold worth of your own money buying your own drinks that night, and you were able to kind of fight off the hangover the next day.
I like it. All right, day number 2. I want to play up the blind chick card and ask around the town about my father.
All right.
And as I'm going around, any potholes I see, anything caused by fire or explosions, I want to fix with Mender. And I see, I fill rather.
You keep using that word. I don't think it means what you think it means.
I'm using C very generically.
He's
Not
throwing air
specifically.
quotes up in the air every time.
Let's see. It's gonna bite me in the ass if your father has a part later in the story that I don't know about yet. What are you asking specifically about your father?
Well, I haven't really.
What he looks like?
No, I haven't really gotten any information on kind of why he was working with him. So I'm just trying to figure out what he was smuggling, what he was doing, if anyone ever saw him doing these things. The beginning of an investigation. This is the real first chance we've had.
Give me a persuasion check. Okay, really good at those. All right. All right. So you kind of wander around the town. You first go to Governor Nighthill. He reiterates much of the same as what he told the other members of your party about your father. Or no, you were there. You were present for it. Tells you much of the same. Says he doesn't really know. He kind of points off to some of the businesses over on the eastern part of the village, where a lot of the traders go through to sell their wares, as well as get others to take other places and sell. There's been a few run-ins with smugglers and such. Very few are caught or even investigated, just because if they're bringing business, then they don't mind it. One older gentleman pipes in when you question him about this and says that a few of the smugglers that came through with very familiar and odd-looking accomplices, they were supposedly smuggling, which unfortunately that information came out after too many drinks at the local tavern. They were smuggling a lot of fine goods, a lot of gold, fine clothing, a magic item or two, very lesser, but they did exist. And they were taking them somewhere north. Not sure where. They never got that kind of information. But he says maybe your father was one of those.
Awesome. And then I would like, after I gather information, to go lightly, friendly, heckle with
Do what now?
I want to, after we gather all the information about my father, go kind of heckle Willie as he's performing, but in a friendly way that is not interrupting. Just like after, if he pauses, just lightly go boo.
All right. Give me a performance check. All right. So I'm saying you're doing it the second day, which is when he had his poem, especially read. You actually get nudged by someone beside you as you begin to heckle, as they're really enjoying this beautiful poem that he is reciting throughout the day to different people. The one time you decide to heckle, you're completely ignored. He just outperformed you for the most part.
I like him.
Drown him out.
Just drowned him out with your goodness of your words and such, the magic that they may hold. All right, that's everybody, right?
Yeah.
Sweet. All right, so 2 days go by. You go once again. You know that Leosin is being housed in one of the houses instead of the keep, off slightly to the north of the keep. You venture out there and you find the other monk whose name I can't remember, but it doesn't matter because you go up there and see him, and he lets you in to speak to Leosin, saying that he has regained consciousness and a lot of his strength, and is waiting to speak to you.
Name's Nessim.
Nessim, yeah. I have it written down. It's just on my other page of notes, and I don't want to switch to it. So yeah, Nessim leads you in there, and you see Leosin in bed, still kind of weak. Hasn't regained all of it. You fairly certain he was tortured for most of the day that he was taken, and unfortunately y'all took a little bit longer to get there and weren't able to save him from that, but you were able to get him out there before he was killed, and you discovered that he was actually going to be killed on the morrow of the day that you rescued him, so saved his life ultimately. If you have any questions for him or anything like that, he says he'll do his best to answer you. He does have a good amount of knowledge from being in the camp and studying this cult for so long.
I'm gonna kill the D&D bot so I can hear while we're conversing. Yeah, it's good to see that you are on the road to recovery, Master Leosin.
With that, he nods his head, kind of bows it in front of you and says, yes, thanks to you for what you did for me. I know I was less than coherent when your friend, and he kind of looks at Steve, rescued me, but if I had been there any longer, I would have certainly perished.
When we collected you, Steve had mentioned you muttering about you not wanting to leave, that you were learning so much. I think now is an appropriate time that you have your wits about you to ask what you have learned.
He nods and says, yes, it's a bad habit of mine. I always want to know more. I want to know everything I can, and this cult of the dragon has my interest piqued, and that's why I got into this mess, unfortunately. See, my plan was to sneak in with the group. They're not very selective of the bandits and mercenaries that they recruit in for their muscle. So I figured I could sneak in with them and learn as much as I can. Unfortunately, a few of the actual cult members recognized me from the raid, and I was captured. But even being in my imprisonment, I did learn quite a few things that I did not know. He talks briefly about the hand signals that the cult uses, that Arun already knows about, and pipes in and says, yes, I've found it in a book as well. So that knowledge wasn't something quite new to everybody. Let's see. He says, observing all the different cultists going around, it seems like not everyone is a full-fledged member of the cult. Several of them talked about initiates working towards full acceptance. It takes time, sometimes several years, to become a full member of this cult. They don't just take anyone. There was a lot of initiates in this group here that were simply there just doing their due diligence, trying to impress. And a few seem to have grown in rank because of that, because of the raid at Greenest. He mentions the kobolds and says while they don't really have any standing with the humans of the area, they do worship dragons as their kind of deities. So the higher ranking cultists seem to be just manipulating and using them as more muscle, as more grunts to send out for fodder. Let's see.
As he's talking about the kobolds, I just want to. Do you have any idea of their number, the strength?
He kind of scratches his head. He says, "They're in the camp itself. There weren't very many. It seems like they were more focused on the hatchery, honestly."
With that kind of lean, move my hand like go on like hatchery.
Oh, he said, "Oh, I thought you knew about it. It's like the cave where he kind of glances over at Tara, where the theatrics took place. That's actually the entrance to their hatchery, their nursery. They have some dragon eggs apparently down in there. I was unable to observe them myself since I was chained to a post, as it were. But I heard several people talking about it and wanting them to be under constant guard. They wanted their new dragons to grow up healthy and unscathed."
No, do they have dragons there at that camp now?
He thinks and shakes his head. "No, I didn't see any dragon like the one that was present in Greenest the night that the night that I went off with the bandits. It just seemed like their eggs were there. None of the dragons, unless, of course, you count the half dragon."
Leosin? Or Leosin? Langredosa?
Langardosa, he says, "Yes, that's not the one I'm worried about, though. Resmir, however, was at the camp for a little while. May have been there when we escaped. I'm not sure. Um, she is the real leader of this group."
Um, out of character, who knew the name Resmir?
That would be me.
Yeah. So with that, kind of lean over and kind of raise an eyebrow or just a brow, towards Steve.
She was there.
And as you kind of question Leo's, and he shakes his head, "Yes, yes, Resmir's the one that did my initial questioning. She tortured me."
She had a hand in killing my kin. She's not known for her leniency.
With that, he nods and kind of has a solemn look on his face. "I'm sorry to hear about your kin. However, her destruction is widespread. She's the leader of this particular group. It seems like they're collecting things for this queen that they keep speaking of. Um, all of their plunder, it seemed, from Greenest and a few other smaller villages seem to have been stored in the cave. Last I knew, I would imagine they're still there. Um, she was the one orchestrating all of that, and as well as holed up in her command tent, speaking to not only Langredosa, but also line. Where the hell is it? Frolam, the human that runs the day-to-day operations for the cult."
That is her back. This Resmir, what were her colorings?
He kind of squints, and you see he has a pained look on his face. She is as black as the night, and her heart is as dark as her skin.
Having just to kind of take a step, you said that a half black dragon came out of the tent when we were leaving. Is this a different one?
Nope, same one.
Oh,
Okay.
maybe.
Okay.
Insight check.
Were there two black dragons? Oh, just one.
You're asking Leosin?
Yes, yeah.
He shudders at the thought and says, I would be terrified if there was more than one around me. One was plenty. Resmir and Langredosa were the only two half-dragons that I saw while in captivity and observing the camp for the short time I could."
Were the tent that you were on the outside of, was that a command tent for them?
Yes, he nods yes. He's like, it appeared to be. It was under constant guard of an honor guard. Not that those two monsters would need it, but it seemed like there was very few people allowed inside of it, and no one really left. It seemed like they were either planning or waiting or something. I'm not sure. I couldn't observe the inside of it, unfortunately.
As we were leaving, two more figures came out to check on the ruckus and festivities. It looked to be two humans, one wearing robes, um, clearly using magic of some kind to hold aloft a ball of flame, and another clad in armor. Do you know who they are?
Kind of squints his eyes and thinks. It's like the one you said holding fire. I'm not sure. I didn't see that person. The other one was, you said armor. Was it purple? Was it a female?
Yes, both.
He nods. He said that had to have been Frula Mondath. Like I said, she is a leader. She is a wearer of purple, as it were. They kind of distinguish between their order. People who wear full purple armor or purple clothing are wearers of purple, and therefore leaders of their cult.
With that, I kind of looked. The more purple, the more crazy.
Kind of has a wry smile. He says, "Yes, I could see that."
Um, so you mentioned the goods that were stolen from Greenest. They were being stored in the hatchery.
He kind of thinks. He's like, I don't know if they were in the hatchery proper. The way they talked about the dragon eggs in the nursery, they said that it was somewhere deeper in the cave. But the goods were kind of stored back there so that they were easy to guard, as well as keep all that group of mercenaries and bandits away from them, as well as be somewhere readily available for them to pull out if they decide to go somewhere else.
Do you know if there's any other ways inside of that cave?
He shakes his head. None that I know of, just the entrance there.
That's a. Did you have any time to observe and get a gauge of the number of mercenaries, or how they moved in and out of camp, or was that somewhere where they were staying for a long term?
He kind of shakes his head. Numbers are hard, but I would say at least 100 to 200 of them have been hired by this cult. They're very lax. All they care about is having them around for muscle. They look down on these people. They're, like I said, just muscle for the cult.
I noticed there were quite a variety of races there, but I've noticed one was particularly absent. And I kind of tap on my chest and point to Steve. So, did you see any of our kind there?
He kind of looks at you kind of quizzically and says, why would I have? The half dragons hate your race. I don't share that, of course, he kind of says defensively. But things that I've learned in my research of this cult, the half dragons, the direct descendants of dragons themselves, they look down on your somewhat crafted species. They call you everything from false and fake breeds, and I've never seen a dragonborn such as yourself in their company on any sort of friendly term.
They see.
Did you hear of any other future attacks? Do you know where they might be going?
He kind of thinks. He's like, I don't know anything specifically, but based on the things I've learned, I know that they've hit a good amount of smaller villages in the area. But not only here, off to the north, it seems like there's other raiding parties that are doing much of the same, hitting smaller villages and escalating up to larger ones. They seem to avoid cities, anywhere where there may be organized militia or military. only hitting defenseless settlements and such. I didn't hear anything specific as far as where they would be going next, but I think it would be a very intelligent assumption to know that they will strike again, and it'll probably be something along the lines of Greenest or a smaller village.
I need to step away for just a sec. Continue. I'll be able to listen.
All right.
Um, uh,
Does anyone have any specific questions? Anything they want to know?
I guess I would be trying to figure out during this time. Like, I understand the picture now is that they are trying to bring back Tiamat, correct? I mean, maybe it's just like a natural action to take, but I'm kind of wondering also why they would need a hatchery for that.
He kind of nods and says, "Yes, the queen that they talk about is the mother of dragons. It is Tiamat. She's a 5-headed, mixture of all the chromatic dragons, all the evil ones at least. They seem to be changing their earlier, in the distant past, they tried to bring back, resurrect dragons and make them undead and follow their will. But now they've shifted to somehow raising and reviving the Queen of Dragons. As far as the hatchery, I'm not sure. They seem to fanatically worship dragons, and the dragons themselves, under their care, seem to be loyal to Tiamat. Maybe that's why they're nursing their young to bring more under their cause.
You did say dragons as a plural.
He nods and says, "Yeah, where there's one, there's more. Dragons, much like humans, can be fanatical in their beliefs. You don't just see one. There's going to be more."
Tiamat or not, we can't exactly have a new band of dragons running about. It'll be the end of this town and every other.
It'll be end of the Sword Coast.
Kind of nods and says, "Yes, and that is something I wanted to speak to you about. After all you've done, and already for me personally and for the people of Greenest," he kind of motions around himself, "I really hate to ask anything more of you, but as you said yourself, the need is great, and I dare to hope that you can aid not only me, but the people of the Sword Coast one more time. I would like for you to return to the cultist camp. You now know your way around it. If the cultists are preparing to conduct another raid, or a large body of them marches away, or if anything substantial can be carried into or out of that cave, I need to know for my research and what I can bring to the authorities. If you have a chance to get into the camp and look around again, that would be the ideal way to spot anything that's changed." He kind of wears a wry smile as he looks around at everyone. He says, "I don't recommend letting yourselves get captured, however."
Well, it's good to see that you haven't lost your sense of humor throughout this entire endeavor.
He kind of smiles and says, "It'll take a lot more of that to bring me down."
That's
mentioned-
a tall order, though, asking us to go back into a camp that last contained, 200 men?
You mentioned authorities. Is there someone that you report to?
He says, "Not anyone important, no kings and such, are known to know of me. However, I intend to travel back north to Eltril. I want to talk to a friend of mine. His name is Ontharr Froom. He's a paladin, a very devout paladin of Torm. He's been very concerned, much as I have been, over the Cult of the Dragon's recent surge in activity."
as Arun suggested, going back, especially after creating the distraction that we did to save you, I think we would be directly putting ourselves in harm's way should we return.
I mean, I might be able to get in.
With that, I kind of lean back and turn and look at the very large man. How would you plan on doing that?
They already know me. I fit in well last time I was there. Why would I have any trouble this time?
Well, you
Well-
have been missing after what they suspect was a attack on their cave that they're hiding these eggs in.
Can I do an insight check to see if Stone Skull would recognize the fact that mercenaries come and go easily there?
Sure, do it with advantage.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
So, I realize that it may seem strange to see me come in and out of this place, but there are tons of people that come in there. They come in for jobs and they come and go. They make money. That's all it really is.
They
I
come in
still-
and out of the front of the camp, but towards the back, the only thing I ever saw from the cliff face were those of more devoted followers, and certainly no mercenaries hovering around the entrance of the hatchery.
And with that, Leozen kind of pipes in. He says, I wouldn't want you to go into certain death, of course. Information is what I care about. Anything I can take to Orthar and his friends would be greatly appreciated. Anything you could learn from the mercenaries, the bandits, anything you might overhear while in the camp, anything you can shed on there to know what their next target is or know what their plans are going forward, so we can stop being 2 steps behind them and stop following in their wake, but get ahead and prepare for them.
Is there no way to gather authorities and march on their position?
Well, they did say they were going to be attacking soon.
As you mentioned, the authorities and such, he says that's the general plan. Like I said, I'm going to travel back to El Turel and talk to my friend there, and hopefully I can gather a following enough to recognize this, this threat to the entire Sword Coast before it's too late to act on. But to do that, I have to have proof. I have to have some kind of credibility to link all of these random, supposedly random attacks around the Sword Coast back to the Cult of the Dragon.
I don't disagree that what you're saying makes sense. I just don't see a clear path in front of us.
With that, he kind of looks down. He said, "I understand. What if I made it worth your while? What if I paid you?"
With that said, we are not siblings of Tiamat, nor of their followers. I don't believe gold is what we seek. With that, I kind of with that, I kind of I'd turn around and give you just a mean glare. Bite my lip a little bit. Just don't. Now's not the time.
I'm actually
with-
gonna put my hand on Max's other shoulder back and say, I accept. And when he kind of looks over to give me a stern look, and I say, gold is useful in many ways to further a cause.
I also pipe up and say, I don't know how much gold I have, but I think I need more.
I'm pretty sure that the gold will be very helpful for me to buy drinks for our mercenary friends.
I suddenly look like I regret ever saying a word.
Leosin hears the conversation. He says, "What if I offer you 150 gold apiece? Would that be substantial to risk your lives for this?"
Oh, let's see, level 3 character, 150 gold. Yeah, that sounds about right.
It's a lot of money.
Mega posse.
For a man of such humble dress and attire, you seem to offer quite a lot.
He looks at you and kind of smirks. He says, "One does not go into guarded libraries. One does not get information for the cheap. I've built up a good enough wealth to get by and enough to help procure things that I need. Not that I'm trying to bribe you or anything. This is simply an offering for a job, essentially. One that you definitely deserve to be compensated for."
Guarded libraries, you say. Now, where would you be talking about?
He kind of looks at you and says, "We could talk about that later, I think."
Mm-hmm.
Watching the exchange, well, it seems as if my companions are on board with giving your assistance, with giving you the assistance that you require. We kind of reach into the pouch on my back and pull out the leather choker with a dragon pendant on it. We kind of show it to him as I reach out and hand it to him. It seems you're very fond of dragons.
And he smiles and says, "I thought I had lost this after they took me. Dragons, yes, I am very fond of them in a intellectual sense. I know that they can be terrifying, deadly, and awful creatures. However, I respect the majesty of the creatures, and I know that there are others that will do good and are against the practices of the cult and its followers, both dragon and human and half dragon alike."
Um, I smile at that. I'm glad you can appreciate there are both sides. There are two sides to any coin.
And that he kind of nods. He says, "Yes, one of those sides is standing before me." So
Um, I kind of glance around the room. Then before looking back to him, said, "Is there anything else you feel like we should know before we set off?"
no
Then
other burning
Havoc
question?
Huh? No. I was asking. Sorry, I was asking Leos and if there was anything else, he wanted to tell us, or anything else he feels like we needed to know before we left.
Oh, I thought that was towards the party. Okay.
No, yeah, no. I just looked around, kind of, making sure that everybody's on the same page with, just kind of for dramatic effect, not really
Gotcha.
asking. Sorry.
He kind of thinks for a moment, trying to sort himself out of what he told you and anything he might have missed. He mentions, well, this cult, their members, especially the ones that have been initiated and are moving through the ranks. Actually, 1 second.
Time's up.
Shut up.
How about now?
Or I can just not give you the information.
No, come on.
I mean, that's a
Don't be
thing.
like
He says, "I was able to learn through my research and a little bit of sightseeing, as it were, in the camp. It seems like this group has different ranks within the cult itself. There's the low-ranking initiates, as they were. They're just cultists for the most part. They don't have anything, but there seems to be an ascending order as to the higher ranks. The lowest rank being a dragon claw. Above that, a dragon wing. Further above that, a dragon fang. Two others past that are a dragon soul, and the highest rank within their order is the worm speaker." He kind of looks back towards Steve. He says, "Resmir is a worm speaker. He is a the highest ranking, one of them at least, in the Cult of the Dragon. It seems that there's only 5 worm speakers at a time, one per the color of the chromatic dragon that shares with Tiamat's heads. Resmir, obviously, is the leader of the Black."
I would turn to Arun. What about Talus?
I nod and was kind of waiting until the end of the conversation for that. I look at Leosin and ask, it might be a bit vague to go on, but I'm hoping her likeness would be rare enough in a camp such as that. Would you happen to have seen a half-elf woman, about this tall? I hold up a hand to show how tall, with dark hair, among the camp, I don't know, attendees or prisoners.
He thinks for a moment. He says, "The only half elf I saw aside from the brigands and the mercenaries was, I think she's a half elf. 1 second. Where is it? No, never mind. So no, he thinks about it for a little while. And he says, "No, I didn't see any of the half elves or even elves for that matter around the camp. I'm sorry, I can't help you more."
And no one by the name of Talus or any mention of it?
He shakes his head. Not where I could hear. If it was anything important, it might have been discussed in the tent where I was bound near, but not close enough to hear anything, unfortunately. But nothing in the passing guards and soldiers and such that were near me when I was chained to a post.
I'll nod and, thank the master for answering the question.
All right.
I'm actually gonna pipe in. I'm gonna say, Anthrar. I mean, what exactly does he need? There's 95% certain there is a couple of dragon eggs. They just attacked the village of Greenest. I mean, what specifically do we need to get for him to believe that this is a threat?
Squeak. With that, he kind of looks and says, "Well, Anthrar is a very strong, a very high-ranking paladin of the Order of Torm, rather. He can't just lead his war priests into battle off of guesses and speculation and faulty research that may be wrong because a book was forged or lied about in. I need more. I need more proof. I need more names and locations, places where him or his order could see things happening or about to happen, and at that point they could supersede and step in."
Take away all reason of doubt.
Yes, and he nods and says, "Exactly."
Oh, this
Tara
Anthar,
just kind of looks frustrated and just shakes her head. That just doesn't make sense. Hundreds of dead bodies is plenty of doubt, but I'll do as you ask.
Just kind of looks at you. "Paladins, am I right?"
they have been known to be stuck and set in their ways. With that, if there's nothing else that you feel as if we should know, I believe we should take the remaining time to gather our things, refit what we need, and head out as soon as possible. We don't know when or if they might start moving again, and we need to be in front of them and not behind them.
With that, he nods. Says, "I agree. I don't know how long this will take, obviously. So as soon as I'm well enough, within the next day or two, I'm going to be venturing back to Elturil to talk to my friend there. If I'm not here when you return, that is where I will be heading."
Can you give me that written down too?
Yeah, just look up a little bit above Stone Skull's thing. I put both the names there.
Oh, the city. Oh, sorry. Good call.
Make sure you don't need to know anything else. Yeah. So yeah, he mentions he's going to be heading back to Elturil with his comrades, the other monks, and he'll find there. He says, "Your payment, I'll make sure is with Governor Nighthill, so that you are paid as soon as the job is complete. And even if it's not, please just collect from him. You deserve that much at the very least."
So your offer is great. We'll make sure that we do our best.
Actually, Master Leosin, I have one further request of you. As you make your way back to a main road, would you mind sending a letter for me?
With that, he nods. He says, "Of course. What would you like me to send it?"
You can send it to Candlekeep.
He kind of smiles and says, I know that place well.
And I kind of thought you did. And I'm going to hand him an envelope I have already written and sealed from my pocket.
Okay. He takes it and says, yes, as soon as I start to head north, I will send that off for you and make sure it is delivered with the utmost haste.
I give him a deep bow.
All right. Any other questions? Any other inquiries for Leosin?
I do not.
Nope.
Nope.
Hmm.
All right. With that, he'll bow, and Leosin, obviously looking a little bit tired from the extended conversation, lays back down, and Nessim leads you out of the room, and you're able to make preparations to what you want to do. So, what do you want to do? You want to head back to the camp? Go around it? What do you want to do?
I want us to head back towards the camp. However, as I'm talking, I want to talk to the rest of the group. I think that we should do our best to blend in as best as possible. And with that, I kind of look towards Arun. How would you feel about trying to gather a cultist uniform to something that might fit yourself?
I literally reach into my bag and pull out the dragon claw mask that I took about 4 or 3 weeks ago and put it up to my face and say, pretty good.
I mean the rest of the garb in its entirety.
I continue holding it to my face. Yeah, pretty good. Black robes. I'm sure we can find that in the village.
I was
Sure.
thinking more purple.
I'm not going to go with any position that entails too much responsibility. I think that would imply an understanding that we wouldn't be able to deceive our way through. But I mean, we can go with that. We have a rough understanding of what their ranks should be like now. I imagine some
Ranks,
initiates,
greetings.
a dragon claw, and I mean, if you would like to go as far as purple.
The fanatics that we mentioned had the striped black and purple garb, right?
Yeah, and you know that you also captured one of these fanatics on your initial night in Greenest.
I imagine those robes are a little bit sullied at this point.
But it would
And
only
with that,
take
I kind of
a little
open my
time to
hand.
clean it.
I
Yeah.
can fix that.
What does that mean? Are you just gonna wash it like super hardcore?
I will clean it before you have to don it. I wouldn't want that monster's soil on you.
Well, I appreciate that thought. I think we need to make sure that you and Steve especially have particularly expansive disguises. You know, we've seen none of your kind in their order. They would definitely not take well to that deception.
I'm not sure if there is a disguise that would be good enough to hide our features, much less our stature. I believe this is something that we would not be able to take part in.
You know, Havoc, you can mediate that because I don't know. I mean, Stone
y'all...
Skull's larger than all of us, right?
Mm-hmm. He's taller than both Steve and Max. So
It's not just about size. We don't have the same shaped heads. I mean, you know what I mean? Like we don't have any physiological similarities. Not unless you have a very good idea. Do I believe that we would be able to pass, especially with their petulant hatred towards our kind?
I mean, out of character, I really just assumed a large, not tight cloak was pretty good at deceiving form, but maybe that's just me.
I kind of look towards Steve. Master Rogar, do you think you'd be able to stay out of sight? Yeah, still within earshot.
I mean, I haven't trained about doing this for a while for nothing, so yes.
I can stay far enough behind to not gain any attention. And I will do my best to mask my appearance, but I will definitely have to stay at a distance. I don't believe that getting anywhere close to the normal rank and file would be good for our guys.
So as you're kind of formulating your plan, anything you want to seek out within the town, any kind of clothing or anything like that?
Does the Imran, do you mind if I see that mask?
I hand it over.
I want to put it up to my face and see if it's something that I could put over my face to cover my features. Like is it a full face mask? I don't remember. Is it just an upper face mask?
It's just the upper face. It would kind of sit on. You could maybe finagle it around to sit on the end of your snout. It would be sticking out way in front of your eyes and such, unlike on a human's face where it would be kind of flat. Might be able
would
to
it be something
finagle
that would hurt my ability to see?
Yeah, it would be a little bit
Probably.
obstructing. Nothing really matches up. This was made for humans to wear. So sitting on your elongated kind of snout of a face, it's not going to fit very well. It's going to be hampering and unruly and such.
I wonder if Steve, do you think that there's any way that you could assist me in disguising myself?
I could try.
Yeah, I want first we need to speak to a tailor and see if there's a cloak that I can find large enough to cover my head and frame.
Okay. There's 2 tailors in town. You could go seek out, talking to them briefly, letting them know who you are and what you plan on doing. In the barest sense, I would imagine you're not giving away too much information, but looking
No,
for disguises and such.
The goal would be, I have an idea. Let us go speak to a tailor first.
All right. Let's see. All right, so you make your way off to the kind of the business district up to the northeast of the greenest, eastern north side, where you fought and captured that one individual. You noticed there was a lot of businesses. You did see a tailor shop there, simply named the Needle and Thread. As you walk into it, you see a very portly man, gray beard or gray mustache rather, sitting behind the counter, kind of looking a little bit awestruck, a little bit blank in his expression. You notice that there's a lot of, mannequin-esque things that are bearing no clothing or anything of the nature on top of them. He kind of looks at him as you walk in and sighs and looks at you and says, "Welcome to the Needle and Thread. What can I do for you?"
Master Tailor, my name is Max. Are you familiar with myself and my troop?
By the way, thank everybody for being
Kinda,
here.
his
Much
distance
appreciate
gaze
you
kind of
being here
focuses
tonight.
for a split moment, and he kind of stands up straight and then lowers himself back down as he recognizes you as Dragonborn. He says, "Yes, I heard of. Was it you and Steve were both there, right?"
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're all
he's-
here, right?
Is everybody there?
I am
Yep.
here.
Yeah, I suppose so.
Okay, cool. Yeah, he's like, I did hear of a group of heroes for this town with 2 Dragonborn in it. Are you one and the same?
Heroes might be a bit of a stretch, but yes, we are the same.
With that, he laughs and walks around the counter. He says, "My good man, you saved my sister Amelia in the sanctuary down south. My name is... God, what's his name? Y'all are making me make shit up.
Harrison.
Okay. No, his name is Nanda.
Oh,
He says, my name is
Nanda.
Nanda. Yeah, you saved my sister Amelia. What can I help you with? Anything, please.
I'm in need of assistance in putting a disguise together. I was hoping you might assist me in a series of very loose-fitting garb, but most specifically, I need a cloak that is more oversized than what someone of my frame would wear currently.
Thaddy nods. He says, well, the raiders, they took most of my fine apparel, my fine silk and such. But I have a lot of cloth and cotton and things of that nature still laying around. I could definitely give you something, a very large cloak, a hood on it maybe to help cover your face. Does that sound like something you would want?
With, I'm not looking for finery. In fact, I'm looking for the opposite. Perhaps burlap, something that is, rough in both nature and appearance.
He kind of cringes at the thought of you wearing burlap. And he says, if it's what you request, I could certainly make something for you.
With that, I take a rune shield and motion it towards my back, like the back of my neck, and put it down to where my head kind of cranes forward in an effort to make like a big hunch on one shoulder. I'd like something that holds this in place and kind of lean my head and shoulders forward to make it as if I have a handicap.
That he kind of reaches up and begins kind of fiddling with his mustaches and nods. He says, yeah, I could put some straps on the back end of it to hold the shield in place, and kind of drones off as he starts thinking more of the specifics of it. But he turns around and says, yes, I could fashion something for that.
I would also need something that covers the length of my arms, my hands, and my legs.
That he kind of looks you up and down, says, what, 6 feet, 6.5 feet? That should be manageable.
6'6".
He says, yeah, would take a little bit of measuring, but as loose fitting and such that you wanted, I could just use extra cloth, and it may be slightly unwieldy for you, but we should be able to fashion it to cover the entirety of your body if that's what you wish.
With a kind of smile, said, that is exactly what I had in mind.
Very well. I'll take your measurements and I can get started at once and have it done. Kind of looks, sees it's about midday or so after your conversation. He says I could have it done shortly before dusk for sure.
With that, so I will help in any way if you need an extra hand.
That he fervently, shakes his head. No. You don't need to lift a finger. I'll get this taken care of with the utmost haste.
With that, I kind of straighten myself back up to, well, then I will leave you to it, sir. I will be back after dusk. I'll call on you then.
That he nods. He quickly runs over with this kind of long tape that he stretches out, has little markings on it, and seems to be taking your measurements very quickly and haphazardly, and then nods and sends you on your way and promises he'll have it done before the end of the day.
Remember, was it, I can't remember his name,
Nanda.
Remember Nanda, it does not need, it should not be form-fitting. The looser and the more haphazard, the better.
He nods and says, yes. I've made far more delicate and intricate works. I'll be able to handle this. Don't worry.
With that, a nod and a smile. I thank you again for your help. And usher myself and the rest of the group out.
Okay.
When we get outside, I will guide with, we can move together. I will cover my features, and play. We can play as if we are a mercenary group. I will I'm certain that I will be able to fool them in thinking that I am not what I am.
Should I be on distraction / outer guard duty again? Or should I run back into the tailor and commission a cloak as well?
I don't know necessarily. I mean, I do believe something to try and hide your features would be a good idea. I believe Steve has the ability to hide himself, but the rest of us will have to hide in plain sight.
Then I'm gonna just kind of turn on my hill and go back in the door, and then come back out, assuming that I commissioned one as well.
All right. So what are you doing?
Just commissioning the tailor to make me a cloak as well.
All right. You want it the same kind of loose fitting and such, or do you want it to be made out of finer material?
Not burlap. It's scratchy.
Yes.
Stone skinned and all. I don't like scratchy. Yeah, just a cloth, black, slightly oversized, but not too much because I trip easily.
Okay. He kind of walks towards you to take your measurements as well, and looks at your eyes a little bit closer and waves his hand in front of it, and then looks at the rest of the group and shrugs and kind of motions over and kind of daintily, almost hesitantly takes your measurements, trying not to startle you, and gets them all done and says, "Yeah, I'll bring in some help, and we'll get both of these done before the end of the night."
I don't believe I can fit in with the rest of you guys, so I will probably try to stay back with the mercenaries in the back.
I believe that we should all be attempting to blend in as mercenaries.
So am I not going with the dragon claw mask
Yeah.
and cloak then?
Yeah, so I guess that's where my confusion lies. I thought we were preparing to get a little further in, not to blend in with mercenaries.
My goal, sorry, yeah, my goal is to just be able to blend in with the mercenaries, to be able to make it
Okay.
inside the camp.
For you guys especially,
yeah.
yeah.
I'm not trying to get any closer than where the mercenaries are.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think that I should really get that close because 4 foot tall black robe figure is going to draw attention.
I mean, of all of us, Arun here is the only one that could probably get close enough to any of them.
I'm just going to sigh loudly and say that's not typically how I like to approach my enemies, but for every occasion.
Perhaps Stone Skull, you, since you already have a rapport inside the camp, can work with Arun to get closer. Working at a story, you have information perhaps on another target somewhere else that has wealth and riches.
Well, I don't have any real information. They said they were gonna attack soon and they would be moving soon, but beyond that, I don't have anything else.
Perhaps all of us posing as mercenaries to gain more information, and then we adjust our plan from there.
Sounds like a plan.
All right. Y'all kind of got it hashed
Should
out
we
to what you want.
get a tent?
I think we should try and blend in as mercenaries. Try and find a
Yeah, I'm
place.
just thinking if
On the way there.
yeah, well, when we get there, if we're staying through the night, a tent might be
to bring
needed.
our own.
Yeah, to look officially mercenary-like.
It's a good idea as well. where would one go to find a tent large enough to fit all of us?
I just kind of shrugged.
I pop my head back into the tailor. Master Tailor, one more question. If I wanted to find an outfitter that would be able to create or sell us a tent or lodging large enough to be transported and carry or to cover all 5 of us, would you be able to point me in a direction?
He nods and says, "Yeah, there's regular adventure supplies. You kind of knew vaguely of them before, where you can get basic supplies and such. Kind of where you got your things from before setting up to the camp the first time. They'd be able to provide a modest tent for you."
Perfect. I think we should head there next.
All right, just to expedite things just a little
Yeah.
bit, we'll go ahead and say
Right.
you're able to meet the shopkeep. Any adventuring supplies, basic ones just like before. If you need to restock on them, by all means you can. Subtract your gold normally, probably at a discount, since you are, like I said, the heroes of Greenest to their eyes at least. But you're also able to get a large tent that'll somewhat comfortably sleep the 5 of you. Being of varying sizes, it's somewhat large to house both the Dragonborns as well as Stone Skull. Set you back as a group about 10 gold pieces to have all of the things assigned or stitched together and such. Actually, it took a couple of tents to do it. So whoever wants to pay for that, if you want to bulk money together, go for it.
I got it.
Okay. You'll go through it, get all the supplies you need, and y'all just need to let me know how you want to do this going forward.
I believe in order to maintain a disguise that I won't be able to assist in carrying any of this.
I can put some of it in my pack.
I also want to grab, not necessarily a quarterstaff, but a large walking stick, which I imagine I'd be able to find somewhere.
Oh yeah, there's lots of trees and stuff around the city or the village rather.
Something over large.
Yeah, you'd be able to break off like a half of a branch or a long branch from a tree and break it off and kind of makeshift into what you want.
Okay. Yeah. So aside from that, I'm good to go. I don't think I need anything else. I'm gonna wait and follow anybody else around or wait until dusk to retrieve my garments.
So initial approach, marching orders similar to what we did last time until we get close.
I think it should be the 4 of us without Steve together, and Steve trailing behind us, or trailing, hiding off to the distance.
On the
Remember,
before we get there. I'm talking the distance from Greenest to there, because we still need to be mindful of that approach.
I think that we should try and not necessarily hide. If anyone should see us, I believe it would be best to engage in discourse, if nothing else, to try and build a sense of believability to our story. Should anyone ask later on, they'll be able to say where we came from. Though swinging out around Greenest, but to say we did not come from that direction, but not in an effort to hide. We don't want to slip past guards and have ourselves questioned before we even take a step into camp.
I like that.
All right. You're going to be able to approach without running into anything until you're kind of getting closer to the area to be where the camp was. Last time you kind of approached from the northeast of it, up by that ridge. Do you want to approach differently this time? Do you want to go all the way around? What do you want to do?
So we're approaching from kind of the direct west.
If you want to hit right into the opening, yeah.
That was my thought anyway. Stroll right into town. or right into the camp.
Yeah, sounds good.
Strolling in.
Mentioning the Stone Skull, I think the best bet is after the fight, have our story be that you left to garner reinforcements, that we are the rest of your mercenary crew that decided to meet up with you, or that you met up with us and convinced us to come join for riches and glory.
Yeah, I think they might believe that.
I'm going to tell them I'm mute, so they don't know I'm a girl. Wait, tell them I'm a boy too. Then I kind of pin my hair back.
I like that. They were, with Steve hiding or staying at a distance, they were expecting 5, so I don't think 4 will raise as many questions.
All right. So plan is to have y'all's marching order. Come up from the west side, just kind of waltz in the front, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I'm going to, with the new fashion clothes and cloak, put my pack and my shield on my back and lean, hunching forward, and even drag a leg in an effort to hide my, my frame and my ability.
All right. Give me a performance check.
Okay,
All right.
that's good.
Pretty convincing.
I think so.
I'm going to don my cloak and, just walk normally, kind of like a child who's disinterested in everything, who's being drug along for an adventure.
Should we enter at the cover of dusk? Should we, or enter at night?
Yeah.
Night would be when they're most alert.
But it also is going to impair their ability to see.
It looks like these have been on fire.
What time of day y'all planning to do this?
We're discussing
That's
that
what
now.
Probably
Yeah.
morning.
I think my suggestion would be closer to nightfall, like dusk, as the sun's going down. Enter the camp just before nightfall.
Yeah, just before sounds good.
Works for me.
All right. So aiming for like twilight hour, essentially.
Mm-hmm. But it sounds like.
Yes,
All right.
correct.
So you make your way across. Once again, you're able to follow a very easy path where this large group trail back to the camp. You don't run into any patrols or anything. It's almost eerily quiet as you get closer and it becomes daytime as well. As you're still continuing on, you don't see any telltale signs of campfires. Makes it a little bit harder to find it, but you follow the path once again, are able to get up to the camp. You see the initial place where you came into the northeast and trail around somewhat wide to come around to the western side of the opening of this valley, gully, whatever you want to call it, and come in. You notice as you come up, though, and are looking down at the camp, there is almost no movement. It looks like the camp is mostly abandoned as you approach it. As you look into the area that you decided to come into on the west side, you see all the tents that were up for the mercenaries and bandits and stuff like that have been burned to the ground. You know that they were very shoddily made, probably not even worth packing. You see most of the tents down to the southeast are still erected, but you only see 3 figures standing around them. They seem to be huddling around a campfire. Seems to have like raw meat or something in their hands that they're cleaning. Give me perception checks from all of you.
All right.
Except Tara. All right.
Look at that.
Everybody but Tara and Arun. You know that as you look around, it looks like the camp's wagons that you saw kind of sporadically amongst the tents and pack animals are no longer there. And as you kind of inspect the area, it looks like they moved in a train towards the west, away from you.
As we see that the tower, the watchtower that we had, or that was up there, is it still erected?
Yeah.
This one here.
The one in front of you,
Um,
you do see
yeah.
clearly the other side where the one that Arun took out is, haphazardly strewn out everywhere.
Can-
It was not restructured.
Can I survival check to see how long ago the prints of movement going out were laid?
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. So as you kind of look at these tracks, initially just trying to discern how long they've been here, you're able to immediately tell that these are a couple of days old. It's almost in line with the night that you escaped. It seems like they booked it out of Dodge, as it were. As you look around, you see the trails of the wagons and such heading off to the west. You see a lot of footprints of humanoids and such going in various directions all over the place. It's hard to really get a general direction where they might have gone. It seemed like they just scattered in all directions.
As we come on, motion to Arun, and then motion a hand up into the tower.
And I kind of relay to everybody what I'm seeing with the tracks, so everybody's aware that they moved out at about the same time that we did.
So I'm going to take a look towards the tower. Do we see anyone in it still?
Nope, it's abandoned.
Can I quickly climb up into it and just see, tell for certain or see if they left anything behind?
Yeah, you'll climb up into it. Give me a perception check with advantage.
Nice.
Yeah. These rolls.
You
tonight.
see much of the same. All the tents in the area around, slightly down into this gully as it goes down or up, I can't remember, are all burned. You see several of the tents down to the southeast are still erected. You only see the three figures once again, halfway down, just sitting there. They've noticed you at this point and see you climbing around and walking around. They've given you no attention, though. They don't care. They go back to cleaning their, what you're able to see now, dead animals that they're skinning and looking to either preserve or roast. You see... As you look down towards the very southeast, towards the cave that was located down here, you see what appears to be deep grooves in the ground, very close to the spacing of the wagons, the wagon trails that you're able to see up by where you entered into this area.
I want to start making my way towards the group that seems to be prepping, and cooking a meal.
Okay.
I'll accompany.
I'm following them because Steve is not with us.
I'm with you.
As
No,
I
you're
start
hiding in the
moving
shadows.
mention, kind of raise a hand, still in, costume. Hail, brothers! What I was told, there would be more members, or more people here. Where did everyone go?
As you hail them, they all three, somewhat lazily look over towards you and nod at your greeting to them. As you ask your question, one of them turns around, kind of a hard set face on him, looks over you and says, "Gone. They left the other night."
And you've taken residence here, then?
He looks at him and says, "No. We bring them food. The ones that are still here," he looks over at the cave. "Down there, they still pay for our food."
How many are remaining?
That he looks over at you and kind of shrugs. As I don't know. Where of Purple's still down there. That weird dragon man. A few of the guys that know how to fight. And those weird dragon dog things.
dragon dog things.
Did the rest move on? Did they say where they were headed? Feel as if we should meet up with them.
He shrugs again. Don't know. Should go ask him.
I kind of step back out of earshot and turn to, kind of to the group. How would you like to proceed?
Perhaps we can find some information from these individuals in the cave. Maybe not talk to them, but at least see how many's there.
I kind of pipe up. If they're still here, there's still a reason. I bet you there's still a dragon egg down there. That could be proof. What's more definitive proof than an egg?
That's true. With that, I kind of turn around. Do you know, to the other three, do you know how long the parties are generally gone? Do you know if they might be returning sometime soon?
He shrugs. Don't know.
That kind of huffed me. Thank you for your help.
He just grunts at you.
I'm actually going to march past the group and kind of just say, like, don't bother. We should find someone invested in the cause and head down here towards the fence.
Start following in behind him as well.
I'm actually going to approach the group. What are y'all cooking? It smells great.
Do the tents that are remaining, do they appear to all be completely empty?
Give me a perception check. Tara, as you ask that, the one near you turns to look at you and says, I don't know. Who's asking? You got any coin?
Well, I would give you coin if I was interested in your food. Have you ever heard of selling yourself, man? And with that, I turn on my hill and huff and walk off.
He shrugs. More for me, then.
Soren just wants to be a sassy chick.
Sassy chick was hungry.
Sassy chick is probably high.
So a 12 on the
Sassy chick
perception.
is high.
But yeah, Havoc, I'm actually moving down here because this is where Leosin had said there were people before, I believe.
I'd like to move over towards this one here on our way to the cave.
So you're going to take time to kind of investigate the area? What do you want to do?
Yeah, I just want to kind of... That's kind of what my perception was for. I want to see if I can, like, peek in between the flaps of the tent and see if there's anything in there. Not make it look super suspicious.
Havoc, do I notice any other people in tents, dead or alive, anything, with my vision? Because I don't think I should really be searching the tents.
Give me a perception check with advantage.
Holy
Yeah.
shit.
At -1, though.
Wow.
You don't notice any life forms aside from your 3 to your northwest, as well as your party in any of the tents around you. It'll take a little time. I normally see a few tents in each area, but they're more numerous in there. So theater of mind, double, triple how many tents are there. So it'll take a little time. If you spend about an hour or so, you'll be able to go through them all and kind of look at what was left behind and any signs there, if you choose to do so.
I mean, we're mostly here for information.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think taking the hour will hurt too much.
Yeah.
Alright.
I'm good with the hour.
I actually want to
6 or 10 stone.
kind of go right here by the cave entrance, Havoc. And I'm just going to kind of lean up against the wall and listen kind of right next to the cave entrance where I can't be seen from it, but I can hear if anyone's coming.
Okay. We'll come back to you in a second. Anybody that's searching the camp for about an hour or so, give me perception checks.
Holy shit.
Ouch. Well, Stone still doesn't find much. He only searches one tent and then gets distracted by something. Arun and Max, as you look around, you see, even though it seems to be, and Steve, yeah. You all see that there's a lot of stuff that seems to be left behind, but it's all trash. You see things like cracked pottery, rusty knives, soiled clothing and bedding, cheap cookware, wine that's gone to vinegar at this point. Nothing of real worth has been here. It seems like they left behind everything non-essential, everything that wasn't valuable, and took off quick and in a hurry. And that is why the tents are still standing.
Okay.
As we kind of finish these things up, I mentioned like it looks like they'll be back, so I don't think we should spend too much time assuming that our cover is going to last, especially in this part of camp. If we're going to investigate the cave, I believe we should do so and quickly. I move over to Stone Skull. First off, is the rope ladder that was over here still affixed to the cliff wall?
Mm-hmm.
No, we drug it up.
No, we
No,
pulled up.
not ours.
No, we
Not
pulled up
we would get
our.
out.
Okay, sorry.
Nope, it's still hanging there. Like I said, you're getting a very distinct impression that after everything that happened when you were
They
in
left
the
in a
area,
hurry.
they got the hell out of here. They
Yep.
packed up, left. Seems like they may have left some few people behind from the Tale of the Hunters, if it can be trusted. Tara, give me a perception check with advantage.
Okay. That's better.
Give me a stealth check as well.
Oof.
Oof. Okay. You hear two voices talking to each other inside the cave mouth, not too deep in from what you're guessing in there. Hard to really pinpoint them. After a few seconds, though, of you standing there, you kind of brush against the wall and a rock falls. And as it does, the voices go quiet and you don't hear them anymore.
Would any of us notice this happening?
Oh,
Yeah, that's gonna happen.
Okay. Give me perception checks, the rest of you.
Yeah. That's a perception check,
It's a
alright.
lovely tent.
Damn, Stone Skull.
Uh,
Can't see inside a tent, but you could hear a rock.
Let me tell ya.
Your heritage.
One second. Stone Skull and Arun, you happen to glance over at Tara as she's kind of leaning around the corner trying to get a better beat on what's inside the cave. And you see the rock fall and immediately see her kind of meld into the wall behind her, trying to be as stealthy as possible. You're unable to really see into the cave, though. It is very dark.
Pop around the corner here.
I want to start moving my way towards to get essentially in front of it. If that makes sense, make it seem like it was me making the noise.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm going to kind of look back and motion for the rest of them to follow up behind me.
All right, you see the cave entrance. You see the initial opening into the cave. Seems to be very broad, very wide, which is why they may have used it to house wagons and such inside there. But you do see after the initial 20 feet or so, it narrows down a little bit, but that's pretty much the edge of your vision into the darkness.
A good look, Steve. Follow at a bow's length behind us, and look at it. Are we ready to go inside?
Yes.
That I kind of turn on a heel and head inside the cave.
Okay. Set up your marching order as you would. There's plenty of light still coming in from the dusk into the mouth of the cave, but it is very, very dark on the inside.
I am going to you with one hand, grab light a torch, but still hold on with both hands to my staff. So basically, in one hand, clutch the torch to the staff, like I'm still leaning on it.
Okay.
And start making my way forward into the cave.
All right. The torch is lit.
Okay.
Arun should follow up. I'm actually going to keep my merge with stone kind of up and sneak along the walls, kind of 50 feet behind, kind of in between me and Steve. Or Arun and Steve, I mean.
Gonna
Oh, there we go. I was looking
follow.
at the right side of the map. I couldn't see anything.
Yeah.
Gonna-
Right. It took me a
Gonna
second.
follow behind and to the left of Max here.
Okay. I'm gonna kind of take the lead since I'm the one that's most like a member of the cult, right?
Right.
So I'm gonna push ahead, just looking very cautiously for people on either side.
All right. Give me a perception check as you move in.
Everybody.
Those look like
All right, give me one
hands.
sec.
You mean everybody give you a perception check?
No, just Aaron.
Those look like hands. They certainly do. Mhm.
As you begin to step in a few feet, you see footprints in front of you in the kind of soft dirt of the cave, leading down into the harder rock. You see a figure up and about this area here, stepping around a rock. Looks very dark, darkly clothed. Hard to see, but you did see something move down there.
All right. I'll take a few more steps forward, and then stop. And I'm going to hold up a hand with the 5 fingers extended and say, "Hail, who guards the nursery?"
As you say that, the figure that you saw steps around the rock into your vision and looks at you. We do. Who are you?
I say, "My name is Arun. I am a new dragon claw to the order. I've come with a few orders from the front."
That he kind of, you can barely see it, but he kind of squints his eyes. There shouldn't be any orders coming from outside. The others are inside already. Who are you really? Give me a deception check with advantage.
All right, guys, here it goes.
Oh,
Nice.
With the advantage.
oh, that
Well,
advantage.
What's
So
his
he
insight?
kind of looks at you and says,
Holy
"Well,
shit.
if it was coming from one of the other groups, maybe it makes sense. Which one do you belong to?"
Mm. Oh no.
God damn it, what's her name? I have it written down.
Frulam,
Yeah, is that what it was? Fru Lamb?
the female cultist officer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
So yeah, I'll say I report to Fru Lamb, and I need to. We were told that Lang de Drosa is here, right? From the monk. Is that what we said?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
part of
So
the group.
I'm gonna say so, and I'm reporting to Lang de Drosa.
Langrados.
That he kind of nods. He says, "I didn't think any of us that were left behind were out there, but it seems to make sense."
And with that, I'll walk a little bit closer into the cave. I mean, or just casually, and say, I understand but
I'm
things
gonna-
have been a little bit tense since, and I'm going to say the incident, and kind of just look around and then say, have you seen anything?
I'm gonna hold my hand up and kind of motion to Steve to stay back a little bit so he doesn't come into view here as we move forward.
Okay. Give me another deception check, Arun.
Oh, God, here we go. It's all going downhill. Oh, shit.
Oh,
Wow.
yeah.
Mm.
Nailed it.
Fake it till you make it. Oh, by the way, guys, I worship Tiamat now.
Did I mention that? Or...
Did he roll a 20?
He rolled a 19.
Son of
Can I assist at all?
a... It
It
wouldn't.
goes to the roller, doesn't it? I don't know.
It would just give him advantage, which he already had. So,
Hmm.
yeah. So as you kind of move forward and mention the incident, he said, "Not many knew exactly what happened down here. I don't think you are who you said you are." As he says that, you see another figure further down step up around the corner, and both of them draw their scimitars and move towards you. Roll for initiative.
No.
Damn it. Well, we tried.
You try. The odds are real against you.
Oh God. You'll have to redo mine. Oh, look, a 20 on that one.
God damn it. I
Mm.
stopped my thing. Eh.
Oh, that's rough.
Alrighty, so as they find you out that your ruse is discovered, they both move forward towards you. This one here is going to take up to you, Arun, and is going to swing his scimitar around on you twice.
Oh, never mind.
Ugh, does a 20 and a 22 hit?
Both hit, yep.
Shit, yeah, they do.
So he brings the scimitar around and strikes you twice very quickly as you're still recoiling and trying to get ready, totaling 8 slashing damage to you.
Okay.
Let's
The
position
other
it
one
like
will
that.
move forward. 5, 10, 15, 20. Oh, wait. 20, 25, 30. He's going to step up next to Max and also swing his scimitar at you.
I'm going to use my reaction to protect Max and give the attacker disadvantage. Max is within 5 feet of me.
Doesn't the enemy have to be within 5 feet, though?
Think it's him. Let me check.
So just post the text on it if you've got it.
Yeah.
What is this, the protection fighting
Yeah,
style?
protection fighting style. Oh, did it not save? It may not save. I'll
I
check
thought it
one
was
sec.
very similar to Sentinel, so and
Yeah,
Sentinel
what's it?
requires both of them to be within 5 feet.
Da, da, da.
Wait, I'm so confused. I thought you had great weapon fighting. What do you
Oh,
have protection?
oh no, I don't. I have protection on my other character. Never mind. I'm
Okay.
thinking of the wrong one. That's why it's not on here.
Aha!
I'm thinking of the Sunday game, not Monday.
All the games.
All the games.
All right. So he's going to unimpeded swing at Max.
Yeah.
Jesus, a 21 and a 19.
Holy shit.
Yes, they both hit.
So he brings it around, and much like Arun, you're still trying to struggle with your staff and your ruse of being crippled. You're not able to react in time and take a total of 6 slashing damage. That being said, you get to retaliate now.
Aaron, how much
Um,
damage did you take?
I took 8.
Thank you.
In like kind of one motion, I imagine like reaching up and grabbing the shield from the top of my back, and unsheathing my sword at the same time to come like in a big stance, like shrug the shoulders, to stand upright, and then take a deep breath in, and then exhale a gout of flame at the both of them.
All right. They're both going to save with a nat 20 and a 14.
Holy shit.
So half damage.
So 3.
So after expelling flame in front, and watching him dodge out of the way, I turned back towards Stone Skull, and instead of just like just a whistle, now it's more of a, I imagine it to be kind of like a harmony, so I'm not going to try and like whistle, but it's multiple notes at the same time, in a very like sharp rhythm pattern, like I can't even do it right now. Like a real sharp set of tones. And then this time you feel the same kind of pull from the musical inspiration, but now it feels more.
Okay.
You can now use the bardic inspiration for an attack roll and damage roll, as well as adding it to your AC for an incoming attack.
Okay.
You get one
And it's
point of bardic inspiration.
1d6 still
Yeah, still 1d6.
Okay.
But you can use it for virtually every
for
roll now.
everything now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So Max turns around and this kind of on varying octaves all at the same time, this whistling sound comes out and you feel empowered.
All right.
Steve.
All right. Well, seeing him swing at Max, move up and attack this gentleman.
Go hit him. 14.
14 hits.
Yeah. Okay.
You don't have sneak attack, right?
Well, did they notice him?
They get to go first.
Yeah, I mean they went first and he didn't try to hide or anything, so
right. Do I not get it with having a rune and Max there, or no?
not unless you have something that gives you like pack tactics or something.
Okay, so no, just 9.
All right. So yeah, you bring it around. You still score really hard on him. You go through this kind of thick leather armor that these guys are both wearing, very darkly covered. Both of them are also wearing the same mask that Arun was sporting. But you hit him hard. He's still standing, but he took a lot of damage from that.
Okay.
Stone Skull.
Okay.
Bonus action, I'm
Oh
gonna
yeah. Go ahead.
move so Stone Skull can do his thing.
Bonus action, disengage, right?
Yeah.
Okay. My turn.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Then I'm gonna move across here, if that's acceptable.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to land to the gentleman to the north with the great sword.
Oh.
23 to hit. Or
23 hits.
13 damage.
He did.
And then I'm gonna go ahead and action surge here to attack the other gentleman with the great sword as well. Going to use inspiration. I have 2 ticks of it, one from the beginning and now the bardic from him. So I'm going to use the regular one from you, Havoc.
Okay.
So, shit. Just a 1 though.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Did it roll right? Yeah, 1d6
Yeah.
natural 1. Yep. Unfortunately, a 12 still does not hit.
Damn. Okay. And that will be my turn.
All right, so you slip past the front, the most closest to the rest of your members of your party, as he's struck in the chest by Steve, and slip past him and just bring your greatsword around, just cleave right into him. Massive gash. He falls down the ground screaming, and shortly thereafter dies. With the kind of backswing, you attempt to swing around. You try to redirect your blows. You feel it's going wide, but he's able to dodge out of the way of your redirection and not take any damage.
All right.
Hey, Rune.
All right.
Let's do
I'm going
1D.
to pull out my rapier and stab again with the swirling magic of booming blade at the one remaining to try and lock him down before he could run off.
Okay.
15.
15 hits.
All right. 5 damage now and 4 more he moves. Actually, yeah, you know, I'm gonna go ahead and action surge as well and just repeat that.
All right.
Oh,
18, 9 damage.
That's gonna finish him off. Give me some flavor on how you got the drop on him.
I'm gonna imagine that I pull up the rapier deftly, kind of hit him with more of a glancing blow, but enough that as he starts getting distracted by the gust of wind, you know, impeding his movement, I kind of just slide it on like underneath like a raised arm and basically through the rib cage.
Brutal. Yeah. He, much the same as his comrade, falls down, kind of screaming, but it quickly dies out as he enters his death throes.
I'm gonna chuckle. Ah, I love this cave.
Everybody, give me perception checks.
oh God. They're screaming.
Can you? I've got my dogs outside real quick. Would you mind roll?
I think we've got it covered.
That's a nat
Yeah.
18.
Yeah.
I'm in a cave.
It won't be even necessary. Yeah, they got
My,
this.
my regular 18. You son of a bitch.
All I wanted to point out is as you look to the background, as Tara says that she's actually standing next to a, it seems somewhat smashed up and such, but it definitely is the figure of a hand coming out of the ground. You see another one up to the north here.
These two. Yep.
Seems to be the traces of Tara's magic from previous. Let's see.
Is it, or is that Tiamat's hand symbol? Because it kind of looks like that, I imagine.
It almost, but more outstretched is kind of their symbol.
Okay. Oh wait, no, you said it was. Yeah, those aren't the right fingers, are they?
No.
Close, index, and middle. Damn it.
All right, what do you want to do?
Shall
Nope.
we continue?
I think we continue the ruse.
Let us.
Well, quickly check the
I move
bodies for their. Was there anything
Yeah.
noting their position or anything?
Not much. You see a scimitar, basic leather armor on these guys. It's painted black. You do notice the two masks on them, much the exact same as yours. You recognize these as dragon claws.
I'm gonna go ahead and pocket me one of these masks.
I'm gonna take the other and walk over to Tara and put it in her hand. And use this to cover your face.
I kind of feel around it on my hands and with my hands and put it on. I'm not sure if it's on the right way.
I'll help her adjust it.
Oh, okay.
I was gonna say it looks upside down.
Is the entrance to this cave hard stone, loose dirt?
It was loose dirt as you entered. As you move further down, it becomes hard stone.
So, I mean, right where I'm standing.
Right where you're standing, it's a little mixture. There's definitely hard stone beneath your feet, though.
I want to use Molder to kind of get all the dirt gathered up and try and kind of mound it over them to hide the bodies.
Can you go
Okay.
under? Can you bury them in the ground?
Mold earthwork on stone?
I don't know. Does it?
I don't know, does it? Hold on.
Post the spell. I'll tell you.
Do it.
Do it. Dirt or stone that you can see within range, and it fits within a 5 foot
And then we're going to bury them in the stone. I like it.
All right. So as Tara kind of walks up next to these bodies, she places her hand down next to them, and you see the stone beneath them. The dirt kind of clears away, and the stone turns almost liquid, and they sink into the ground, completely out of sight, and underneath the stone, and then it solidifies slowly back over them.
I'm going to kind of kneel on the ground and move my hand across in a slow motion and remove any traces of blood or combat that was there.
Okay. There's a little bit of blood there, but you're able to kind of wipe it up and move the dirt over to kind of absorb it.
I was just using my prestidigitation.
Hey, okay, yeah.
eliminate it.
Oh yeah, it's gone then. Yeah.
With that, I take my shield and stick it back under my cloak and readjust. Pick my staff up. But did my torch go out when it fell?
No, it just fell to the ground. It's still burning though.
Pick it up and kind of, readjust my shoulders. It kind of turns it. Perhaps you should let me do the talking.
Bueller?
To that, I'm gonna say, keep up, slave.
I appreciate the ruse. And with that, kind of, a harder stare, and start moving forward.
I'm gonna look over to Max and take the little mask that I have and place it over my face and make a I'm big and important pose as we get ready to move forward.
Give me a performance check.
Oh,
shit.
Oh yeah, I do.
Man, he is intimidating, large. Freaking, he looks like he owns this cave right now.
Yes.
All
They
right.
brought a cave troll.
A
Don't-
cultist cave troll.
Don't question me, I'm bigger than you.
Yes, you are.
He's right a lot of time. All right, what do you want to do?
Continue moving forward in the cave.
All right, do it.
Should Steve still be hanging back or no? How do we want to do that?
Yeah, continue with him pulling up the rear.
Okay.
With Steve, keep glancing back, make sure no one's followed us in.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep my ears open for any movement behind us.
All right.
Listen for one of my whistles. Means trouble.
Everybody but Tara and Steve, give me perception checks as you continue down.
Okay. I'm good with this.
Arun, as you take a few steps forward, you look down to your south, down to this wall down here. It's very dark, very hard to see. But as you're kind of looking at it, you see like a cut in the rock where it seems to be like a low-hanging roof, but there seems to be a space underneath it.
I'm gonna hold an arm out. Well, I imagine on the right side to have Max know to stop, and on the left side to stop Tara, but she actually just walks into it first, and then say, "Look, do you see the cutting in that stone?" And kind of point it out to him. You think it's a passage?
It does not look natural. I believe we should investigate further.
Perhaps our earthen mason.
She's a mason now.
Yeah, she knows her way
Yeah, I
around
mean-
some rocks.
What do I know about that rock from my vision having?
Give me a perception check.
With advantage?
No. I'll give you advantage because you are kind of feeling the earth. So you don't know much. You know that up here where you can I think y'all can see the edge.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can see the edge. It looks like it drops off a few feet, almost like in a little alcove there. And then the wall looks like it's just a solid wall, but you're able to feel that there is actually a passage beneath it that follows that drop off to the other side.
I relate that to Arun, kind of explain. I feel like just kind of drop. We should be able to get through there.
Do you think you can move it with your magic?
I'm gonna kind of place my hands on the rocks and I guess investigation. Will that tell me if I'm about to smash this if I try and move it all?
What are you trying to move now?
Kind of make the opening big enough for everyone to get through.
You feel it's open. It's big enough for people to crawl through. They'll be kind of cramped, but it's big enough for everybody to go through. The wall itself that's in front of you seems it could be, a good 4 or 5 feet thick. It's going to take a lot of effort, and it would probably be kind of noisy to shatter the rock or meld it out of the way. It would take you a lot of time even to meld it.
Just kind of look at Aru and say, not without risk of alerting everyone and potentially burying us all.
That's a comforting thought.
It doesn't bother me.
Something to make note of.
Well, my only
How
thought
large is the opening?
Oh, yeah.
It's initially very tight, but after you go down to the, it's like a 3 feet drop off. You'll see that it's large enough for you to squeeze through. You'll have to do it, especially the Dragonborn and Stone Skull will have to do it kind of on your hands and knees to squeeze through it, but it's big enough for you to all to go through.
Well, I should actually have my meld with stone up because I didn't actually do anything that last fight. So I actually want to scout it since I'll be unhindered moving, and I just kind of want to walk through slowly and check for traps, see if I can feel any or run into any, and then also just check to make sure there's nothing in front of us.
As she's getting ready to move through it, I want to kind of reach out. Is there a way? Would it be safer to close that entrance to make sure nothing can come out?
I'm not sure what's on the other side.
I realize that, but I don't want you to necessarily be alone.
I mean, if we have to rush in quickly, I can try to pry or push the door open.
I feel confident that a cave is my natural habitat and I won't be detected.
Okay.
All right. First, give me a stealth check with your +10, I think, from your Melwood Stone.
Yeah, 14.
All right, 14. Okay. Give me a perception check with advantage as you reach out and look around you.
Okay.
Okay.
Better.
All right. You make your way down into this hole and underneath the low-hanging roof there. Don't have to bend down too far. You can kind of hunch and get underneath it. You're able to move to the other side. As you reach out and feel around, you feel what appears to be like 2 footsteps coming from various areas down to your southwest somewhere. But you can't really discern like numbers or anything of that nature.
So you said, do I kind of feel this break right here?
Yeah, you feel a tunnel kind of leading to your southwest, and it kind of reaches off in a Y beyond your normal eyesight. Would not be able to see around that.
And kind of in this point, they can move freely, but it'll be single file, right?
Essentially, it's wide enough that maybe 2 by 2 could work. It'll be kind of cramped though.
Okay. I'm going to actually just step right back out and explain to them that it's a passage with 2 branches. There's definitely something in there. I think it's a person. I don't know how many. And we could move through it freely to a point. It's going to be cramped.
I feel as if we should continue our ruse and keep moving forward and just make note of this.
Okay. Then I would actually like to use Mold Earth Havoc to kind of close it up so that maybe only a really small person could get through. And then kind of leave a kind of jagged edge sticking out of the roof so that we can see where it is.
Okay. It'll take you a little bit of time, a little less than a minute or so. But you're able to go through and clog up kind of 10 feet or so of the space. And like I said, put a jagged edge, like you said, out to make it a little bit more noticeable. But you feel like it's much more cramped than it was.
All right, I like it.
All right. As you continue forward, once again, everybody moving forward except for Tara and Steve, make me perception checks.
Blue. I was hoping that 18 was mine.
Arun and Max, as you're looking forward, you see a small little cliff, kind of a drop off that goes down a few feet into this next area, and you see clearly cut stairs directly in front of you. As you kind of look at the stairs, though, it looks like the lowest two steps have seams on either side of them, and the seams look like they would be able to collapse down to make a flat surface, ramping down into the bottom area.
With that, I turn and give a very low, like alerting whistle to Steve, or an attempt to get his attention. Kind of a
And as you're kind of looking up there, you see, actually I had a room description for once. The cavern below is carpeted with a profusion of fungi, ranging from a few inches high to nearly as tall as a human adult. Two paths lead through the fungi, one to the right and one to the left.
And you said this bottom stair here looks like it has like markings or notches in it, like it would collapse.
Yeah, it's about a 10-foot drop to go down into the area below. The ceiling is kind of almost at your eyes, so you'd have to drop down to get down in there. You could probably do it off this ledge, though. The stairs themselves, you do see, or Aaron and Max clearly saw what appeared to be notches, where the bottom two stairs appear to look like they could fold down somehow if something triggered them and make like a ramp, a slide, if you will.
Hmm.
I don't know, looks like fun.
I'm going to take the rope off the side of my pack. This is a pillar, right?
Yeah, reaching up to the ceiling.
I want to affix my rope to that and then bring it over and dangle it off the edge here.
Okay, so at 50 foot, right?
Mhm.
Oh yeah, plenty of extra length to wrap around and reach all the way down to the next ground floor.
After it's safely down over the edge, I'm going to make my way down the steps, careful to not step on those seams that I saw.
Okay.
As I make my way down, I turn across the steps, step exactly where I stepped. I believe this place has been trapped against intruders.
I think.
How long does your bardic inspiration last, by the way?
That is an excellent question. Let me see.
I think it's really long, but I can't remember.
I think it's like 10 minutes. I'll see.
Didn't he use the inspiration?
I
No,
had
he used the DM given one I
Yeah.
gave him earlier.
Oh,
10 minutes.
No, because it said inspiration. Weird.
Yeah, it's 10 minutes.
Okay, cool. All right. About half that time or so has passed since you entered.
So he walked to here and then down to here.
Give me a perception check. With advantage. Yeah, you know exactly where he stepped.
Okay. So I'll follow behind him the path that he went to ensure that I don't possibly trigger something.
As I described in this area, the kind of center, it's not really drawn in, but the central area is kind of covered with thick fungi and such. You see a slightly easier path down in this area, as well as up and around this pillar over here.
Mhm.
Yeah, I want to hang closer to the wall,
Okay.
where I've got my rope positioned. So I'm going to use that path. Is everybody else coming?
I'm going to actually approach Aaron. Excuse me. Do you know where you stepped?
And I'm just like, how do I describe this to a blind girl?
Have her come over here and I'll just lower her down. Because it's what, 10 feet up, right?
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, just have her come over to where I'm at and I can just reach up and basically grab her.
All right.
My
Yeah,
wingspan would allow me to at least reach up to her.
All right.
So
Can you keep her off the ground until we get clear of this fungus?
yeah,
Oh God, I'm gonna be carried.
and I'll lift Tara up and kind of set her up on my shoulders like a little kid. You know.
I was thinking the same thing, just like on one shoulder.
I like it.
Beautiful, beautiful imagery. Max, Arun, and Stone Stole, give me nature checks as you're kind of looking around this room at all this fungi.
Gross nature.
Ew.
Oh shit.
Holy shit.
Oh,
That 0.
Hey.
That
damn.
is 0, though.
Y'all about to lose your ankles, son.
Stone Skull does not go into fungi caves.
Apparently not.
He does not.
Stone Skull and Stone Skull's kind of distracted by having a small girl on his arm, so he's kind of like not really paying attention more to her than anything else. Max, you don't really notice anything peculiar. Arun, however, you look over to the bottom side, the right path over in this area. It seems like there's different kinds of fungi, ones that have tendrils that seem to kind of move and undulate in very odd and almost animated ways, whereas the path that Max is treading on, it seems to be just regular old fungi and moss and things of that nature in that area.
So you said they're what color?
They appear to be kind of purplish, violet color.
Okay. Hmm. But like, so those are only adorning like the right side of the cave.
Mhm.
And did I notice anything else about it?
No, they just seem very, everything else is very stagnant, not moving. Some spores and such floating through the air, whereas down here on the bottom side, you see like tendrils moving and such. At first, you would think it would be like from wind, but there's no wind down here.
All right, so I'm just gonna call it out to the party and say, just be wary to keep your distance from those that like purple fungus growing on that side of the cave. Something seems unnatural about it.
Yeah.
Good eyes. Let's keep moving and get away from it then.
Yep. So I'm just gonna point out which steps to use to Steve because he wasn't like close by at the time.
The way. Do you know the way?
Or if he doesn't move, I kick him off the ledge. Either way.
I'm moving. Calm down. I've had a lot of whiskey.
I'm gonna need you to be louder then.
Please don't scream.
I didn't plan on that. Calm down. I don't want you to kill me.
All right, so you said half of the timer on the inspiration's gone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Got about 5 more minutes or so.
As we
Yeah.
kinda-
Waiting on Max.
Yes, we kind of get up
Yeah.
to this point. Do we hear anything coming from up the cave yet?
Give me perception checks. Ooh.
All those
All right.
crits. Bet it wasn't an advantage.
Max, as you step forward, it's kind of. Let me see.
All these crits are going to make me finish my bottle.
It's hard. You hear kind of a flapping sound. You don't see anything that could be causing the sound, but it's definitely coming from in front of you off to the kind of northeast area as the cave continues. Tara, as you're kind of feeling out with the tendrils of your inborn magic, you feel...
She can't.
Oh, wait. Yeah, you're right.
She is
Yeah, you
currently sitting on
Yeah,
Stone Skull's
I'm on
shoulders.
top
Yeah,
of
so
Stone
you'd have-
Skull.
Yeah, you'd have
It's a crit.
disadvantage.
She
So
felt it through him.
Yeah,
No, that was
that's
for
a-
hearing, though.
yeah,
That wasn't for the filling.
yeah, you would hear the same thing.
Yeah, that's
then.
what we hear.
Yeah, you would feel the or hear the same thing rather, kind of a flapping of wings. Don't really know what it's coming from, but you know it's definitely coming from somewhere to the northeast.
Does anyone hear that?
I do. Be on high alert. I'm not sure what would be flying down here.
I kind of chuckle. I am on high alert. I'm as high as I've ever been.
Hold on. At that, can I just be like, wait, things flying? What flies in a cave?
There are wings flapping. Watch the ceiling.
Knowing our luck, it's dragons.
Or,
I'm going to move
critters that live in a cave.
more slowly now.
I'm trying to
paying
follow.
attention to anything that I can see.
All right. As you're moving into this area, like I said, you think you're going kind of slowly. Give me stealth checks.
Okay.
Wait.
Not you, Tara. You're pretty much at the mercy of Stone Skull
Oh,
right
I
now.
still have plus 10.
Hey,
He looks like
Don't
he's
worry,
carrying
I
a
got
boulder.
this.
yeah, he's so strong. It's like
Just-
not even there. Like
She's just sitting on his shoulder, like, everything's fine.
Really?
Now 1 on an 8. All right.
the road.
But Steve is way back there, though. So as the rest of you move forward, you're moving very quietly. Give me perception checks. Not Tara. Max and Stone Skull, as you look around this room, as you move into it, you see what appears to be kind of black bodies of very small creatures laying on the floor. They appear to be bats that are dead.
Dead bats.
Bats. Oh.
I kind of. What are bats?
I want
They're-
to
They're like you with wings.
move a little bit closer and investigate the dead bat bodies.
All right. Give me an investigation check. As you kind of look over, you don't see anything untoward until you look over on the side and you see like a piercing wound on the side of this thing's neck. Still a little wet blood is present on the side of it as well.
Can I tell what the piercing is from, or how many pierces there were?
You only see one, and it just looks like, something pierced into its
Hmm.
skin fairly deeply.
With that, I'll pick up the body and show it to the others. Not Tara, of course.
See, this is what one. Oh, never mind.
As y'all are doing that, kind of discussing it, give me another stealth check.
I redeem
Oh.
myself.
Oh, but I did not.
I mean, technically, Stone Skull gets plus 10 for my pass without a trace spell that's still going right now.
So Arun begins to stumble over a rock, but he's caught quickly by Max. And you're able to keep very quiet as you're moving through here. Give me another perception check. Yeah, everybody, because you're all kind of in the area now.
Perception check. Oh, jeez.
All right. So as Max shows off this, dead bat with a hole in its throat, it causes you to kind of look around the room. Arun, not Tara, and Steve, you kind of look up to the ceiling and you see it is completely covered with bats. They haven't seemed to have noticed you in what you would assume would go into a frenzy or something. They kind of just seem to be hanging there right now. But it's this entire room, as far as you can see in the darkness, is covered with bats.
So he's pointed out to me like the wound in the bat.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm kind of like just saying like a very low voice, guys, look up. And just kind of like let them take in the sight of all of the bats.
With that, I visibly shrink closer to the ground.
I'm gonna slowly set Tara down on the ground beside me so she can get a sense of everything around us.
Ooh, she could feel the ceiling, couldn't she?
Mm-hmm.
Sure, yeah.
I was like, I'm looking around like
I double rolled that.
Nope.
do we see anything but bats, or is it just like a mountain of these things?
No, that first one was.
Give me a perception check, Aaron. Tara, as you're kind of feeling around and hearing the mention of bats, you aren't quite sure what they are still, but you do feel up into the ceiling after hearing Aaron say, "Look up," and you feel like tiny feet and such clinging to the rocks and the stalactites in the air above you, clinging to them. You, like I said, still don't get a whole kind of grasp of what they are, though.
There's so many of them.
How big is this chamber?
Well, it's fairly large. Arun, much the same. You see just a lot of black mass of bats.
I never thought I'd die to a wave of bats, but
So it's basically this entire chamber.
Like I said, as far as you could see, even with the torchlight, it's just covered in bats on the ceiling.
I'll kind of turn and whisper quietly, be very quiet and move very slowly.
I'm gonna reach over and kind of put my arm down and like my hand on Tara's back to kind of guide her forward with us.
No, I'm going to again move slowly through the room. Again, almost to the not quite hands and knees, but like crouch down and as slowly as I can myself.
Is everybody else kind of following suit, or
yeah.
a resounding yes?
Yes.
All right, everybody, as you move
close as
forward.
I can get to kissing the guano on the ground, but like, without actually doing so.
So as everybody's moving across there, give me another stealth check with advantage.
Yeah.
Nice. All right.
30.
You keep moving super slow. Even Tara's kind of melding once again with the kind of rocks and such around her as she does so, just completely ignoring like the guano she's stepping through. The entire party is doing so. As you get towards the end of the cavern, you see a pathway leading off to your northwest as well as to your southeast, as well as it looks like another a drop in front of you to the northeast that leads another 10 feet down. Give me one more stealth check with advantage.
Here we go.
So as you move through, Tara and Arun, you kind of slip on some of the guano and start to lose your footing. But luckily, you have your party members around you who rolled much higher, and they save you from falling and making a bunch of noise. You still have not alerted the horde of bats above you.
It's in my shoe.
I don't care.
So get it out later.
Hey, Rune, come with me. We'll investigate this direction. Are the bats still all up above us?
Yeah, they seem to be kind of thinning out as you branch, or if you look to the ceiling to the northwest and southeast, as well as to the northeast over here. It seems like they're only clustered in this area, this kind of cavern that you're in.
I mentioned to the other three, try and get clear of the bats. We will catch up with you in just a moment.
And
All right, Arun and Max, don't move forward yet. Give me
sorry.
perception checks. I'm all quiet now because y'all are being sneaky as shit.
because the party is kind of split here, I'm gonna have to light a torch.
All right.
But there's no quiet way. There's no quiet way to do it, so I'm just gonna hold position and grab onto Tara and just have her stand where we're at.
I'm gonna tug on his hand and lead him through.
I can't see where she's going, so.
That's right. You're blind on the map too.
Oh, I am.
Move
The
one's
blind
face
leading
down and to
the-
the right.
All right.
Yeah.
What?
Stone
Is
Skull,
this-
also give me a perception check. Do what?
Is
Aaron?
this literally the blind leading the dumb?
Yes.
Oh man, that's nice.
Greatness. All right.
Yeah.
So, Arun and Max, as you move forward very slowly, kind of checking the ceiling as well as towards your feet, you see in front of you what appears to be a slight discoloration, almost like something man-made on the kind of squares of stone in front of you, taking up this entire pathway. Like I said, this stone here and this stone here. You kind of reach out. Give me investigation check, Arun.
Investigation. Don't love that one.
All right.
Nope.
As you spot
do
this, you kind of lean down to reach out towards the weird coloring and kind of lightly touch it. It bends under your fingertips, even though you're barely touching it. It appears to be some kind of parchment is laying over and appears to be mimicking the stone around it. Stone Skull, as you're moving down, getting ready, just the edge of the light from Max's torch is lighting up, and you see the glint of a pitted spear laying at the top of these steps that you're standing in front of, or at the top of, rather.
Okay, so I again grab onto the back of Tara's shirt and kind of pull back a little bit, little slow, so I'm not like terrifying her and gonna wake up all the bats up above.
All right.
Yeah, I stop.
Steve, since you were kind of behind the party, give me another stealth check with advantage. Yep, you're still stealthy enough. Bats are not moving. What do y'all want to do?
Just waiting for Arun's reaction.
Why did we stop Stone Skull?
I think I'm a little bit confused as to like what I'm looking at. Can I just get the description again?
Basically, the floor in front of you that you're seeing in the light of Max's torch, it appears that they were discolored. These two blocks here. If you were to move like diagonally to this block,
Yeah.
you would be back on the regular colored stone. And as you investigated these two areas, it looked like there was some sort of parchment, kind of painted and masked to look like the stone of the cave floor, but it bent under your touch, like there's nothing beneath them.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, that's much more clear. Thank you.
Now I get it. And I kind of lean down to Tara and say, "There's a spear right in front of you."
It gets like wildlife.
Is somebody holding it?
No, it might be a trap.
Oh, traps are gay.
All right, what are y'all doing up to the north?
Well, I mean, it's obvious it's a trap, but do we want to try and see what what it's meant to do, or do we just want to see if we can get like over?
I'm gonna tug at Tara and say, "We should probably go back with the others."
No, I was thinking the same.
And slowly make our way over to
regroup.
where they're at.
Okay.
Let's regroup and see what's down this way.
All right, as everybody kind of regroups back to the middle of the cavern, a round of stealth checks, please.
I don't like these.
I'm okay with that.
Doing well at them, though. Yeah, you're
Right.
able to creep, just back towards each other into the light,
Okay.
and still not startle the bats above you that are still kind of chirping and moving around.
What is this?
How tall or how far of a drop is that?
The floor drops down about 10 feet at each ledge. So you see a ledge directly in front of you dropping down. And on the far side, can you see that?
I can see the cliff edge and it goes out to like here.
Yeah, I can't
me.
see any farther past that.
Yeah, you see about a 10-foot drop down into an area below.
Okay. Can I actually are we gonna go that direction?
I believe that's probably the safest.
Okay. With that, can I slowly climb down the side here so I can try to help to move everybody down?
Yeah, give me a stealth check and then an acrobatics or athletics check, your choice.
Okay.
Okay.
There's a stealth, and you said acrobatics or athletics. I'm gonna do athletics. Wow, with the bardic inspiration, please.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey,
All
A
right.
little better.
Yeah, you're able to climb down and not really make any noise. A few pebbles kind of break loose, but nothing loud enough to really alert anything. And you're
Okay.
able to get down.
And then I motion to them to come over and slowly help lift them down, so that they can get
Tara
down without
first.
making a bunch of noise.
Did you ever let a torch stones go or no?
No, not yet.
Okay.
I was still in the dark with Tara. She was just kind of dragging me along.
It's like this
Yeah.
is how it is all the time for you.
Uh-huh.
God.
This is what it's like to not see everything?
There
Okay.
you go, Scott. Very good.
I know, I'm using tools.
Oh, it's magical.
It seems I can see more.
Yeah, you'll
All
be
right.
able to all move down if you so choose to with Stone Skull's assistance.
Me first. I'm down.
Ye-
Then Aaron, and then the two other big boys.
Tara, you clearly feel a 10-foot rise on the other side of this, about 5-10 feet in front of you.
Where the hell?
Okay. So, everybody moves down okay? No issues?
Yep.
Okay. We'll assume everybody's down then. Alright. So then we climb up here.
Mm-hmm.
Alright. Everybody come over here. I'll help you up.
I'm
Send
going
Steve
to.
first.
I'm gonna go up first.
Any checks on this?
No, he'll get up first. Max, as you climb up and have a torch kind of light in the area, give me a perception check.
And then I'll slowly start helping everybody else up.
So I'm gonna be
Okay.
looking for bats too.
You notice there are no bats in this area as you look to the ceiling. As you look around, you don't see a whole lot. It looks like this cavern kind of dead ends here from what you're able to see out of the torchlight. But your smell, your sense of smell is assaulted by a very rank and rotten, smell. Just funnels into your nostrils as you climb up here.
Do I get a direction for like intensity?
All around you.
As soon as I smell it, I hunch back down, and with the point of Stone Skull, can you smell that? Like, bring it, like motion for him to like lift his head up.
Kind of peek up over the corner. Perception, you said?
Yeah, with advantage.
Okay.
It isn't as
Matter.
strong as what Max seems to be letting on, but you definitely smell a very rank and rotten smell.
Can I do survival or... Yeah, survival to see if I can tell what it is? What the smell smells like it is?
You can do a nature check, maybe.
Oh, damn it. I didn't want to do a nature check.
I don't care.
Damn it, indeed.
It could be anything from old musty socks to rotting meat to troll ass for all you know.
I look
It's
up
not
at Max and say, "Yup, I smell it."
It was filled
Like
with troll grass.
deadpan, I have no idea what it is. I just smell
Right.
something in the air.
But let's all get out of the hole, and then we can investigate it further.
Okay, then I'll start helping people up for the cliff here.
Alrighty.
Just hand me up to Max.
Just hand her straight up, no issues.
All right, everybody up there now, give me perception checks. Tara, do it with advantage.
Ugh.
Oh, what is this?
One second.
I like how Willie rolled again.
Is that everybody that was up there?
Truth.
Tara and Max. Tara, you feel more than see, obviously. Footfalls dropping as Max, you see this creature looking very almost serpentine, kind of melds out of the wall, much like you've seen Tara do. And as you all begin to step and look around, it moves towards you. I need everybody to roll for initiative, please.
Yeah.
I don't like that. Ugh.
Okay. It's terrible. Terrible. Oh, it didn't take. Oh, yeah, it did. No.
All right. So as this
Yeah,
creature
sure.
melds out of the wall, Tara feels it. Max sees it. Adrian, you catch it at the last second. However, as you're kind of looking that way, you barely catch the glimpse of another one kind of melding out of the stone, and it moves towards Tara. Tara, as it gets up next to you, I need a Constitution saving throw, please.
Oh boy. Oh, she's
Oh,
good.
yeah.
Hmm.
Where's the good music now that I actually want it?
Beefy.
Jeez, there we go. All right, so as even with your heightened sense of smell, as this thing gets closer to you, it just becomes more and more rank. It's just putrid, assaulting your nostril, but you're able to fight off the urge to kind of vomit, and it gets up next to you still, and it's able to reach around and do some stuff.
Do some stuff. Gonna do some stuff.
First attack 11,
Nope.
What's
second
it
attack
attacking with?
5,
No.
and a 17.
Yes.
All right, so this thing lunges at you with
I'm
its.
actually going to use shield as a reaction.
Okay.
Yeah. +5 bonus AC.
Does that happen
So-
before or after damage calculation?
That would be
Uh,
before.
Before.
It says it includes against triggering attack. So
Okay. You take no damage. Okay. All right. Cool. Yeah. So as you, as this thing lunges at you and you're able to kind of sense it moving for you, its jaws snap beside your head but don't make contact. It reaches one of its claws around to swing at you but misses. The second one begins to make contact, but you're, I imagine like your shield does more than put magic around you. It's more like your skin turns stony or something, right?
I like it. That's how I view it.
All right, cool. So as this claw makes contact with your skin, it just flakes off the hard stone that now surrounds your skin where it tried to attack, and it does nothing to you. That being said, this one that you initially saw is going to step up next to Max and Arun. I need Constitution's. Never mind. Ooh, I read that wrong. Okay, cool. All right, no Constitution saving throws yet, but it is going to attack Max. As it reaches out, does a 14 hit?
Yes.
What about a 24?
Oh.
Yes.
Nat 20
Maybe
and
it's
then
more, yeah.
then a 16. All right, so unfortunately, it's going to hit you with all 3 of its attacks. So it bites down into your
Ouch.
flesh and does 5 piercing. Then a claw strikes really hard into you for 7 slashing. And then the other claw comes around for 4 more slashing for a total of
16.
math. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11,
16.
16. Yeah, 16 damage.
Jesus.
Max, you're supposed to use the shield I gave you.
Oh, I did. It did not matter.
His AC is still so low. All right, so it just reams into you. Steve, you're still at the bottom of this cliff.
All right. Can I make my way up? It's Stone Skull still helping people up or me up?
Would he have to wait until my turn to do that?
It's only 10 feet. You could probably scramble up it. If you're going to wait for Stone Skull, you're going to wait for his turn, and he's going to have to use his action to lift you up.
All right, then I'll just scramble up.
All right, just give me an acrobatics or athletics check to do so.
Acrobatic.
Nice. You scramble right up it. It only takes 10 feet of your movement to do so.
All right, I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna use. Where is it? Insightful fighting. I'm gonna need a deceit roll from this gentleman here, or whatever that thing is.
Thought it was your
1
deceit
second.
versus his.
No, it's my insight versus its deceit.
Oh, okay, cool. Deceit.
Neat.
That uses charisma?
That's neat. I like
Yeah,
that.
that one looks charismatic.
Oh God.
Unfortunately, it rolled a 9, so.
All right.
Why is the rogue failing at rogue things?
Whatever. Well, I'm still gonna stab it. Right.
All right.
Quick, pull off your mask. You were a paladin the whole time.
15 lands home.
All right. So just 4 piercing.
All right.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Nope, because I used my bonus action.
All right. So as you bring your rapier around, you attempt to kind of catch it in its vital area, trying to be deceitful with the kind of a feint attack. But unfortunately, it sees through it and brings its arm up, and you stab through it for 4 piercing. It feels like you did a good amount of damage to this creature, though. Terra.
Seeing Max getting hurt, I'm going to attempt to restrain these two with Maximilian's Earthen Grasp, using Twin Spell.
All right.
DC 12.
Must be a strength saving throw. The one closest to you is going to succeed with a nat 20, but the one closest to Max is going to fail.
Okay.
So give me 2d6.
Yep.
Mhm. 7 damage.
All right. Anything else?
No, I'm going to leave it at that for this round.
All right. So as you bring up these two hands, the one closest to you dodges out of the way of it, but the one closest to Max is unable to, and it takes a good chunk of damage. So it's kind of, is it restrained now? I can't remember.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. So yeah, it's trapped in this and gets crushed. This thing is kind of spewing blood out of its mouth. It is almost limp inside this hand holding it. Stone Skull.
Going to quickly make my way up the thing here. So.
All right. Acrobatics or athletics, your choice.
Yep.
Mm.
Just right
You
up.
Just jump.
And then
Yeah,
I'm
opposite drop
gonna
step.
move up to here between Terra and Max, and I'm going to hit this one with the greatsword.
Do it.
13 to hit.
You're hitting the one closest to Max?
Yes.
Yeah, you're going to hit. Yeah, completely hit it.
Okay. 13 damage. If it is still
God.
standing.
It is not.
It's not.
Okay.
It's not.
Never mind.
You just decapitated this thing while it's restrained in this giant hand.
I'm looking for any reason to use my new Cavalier thing that I have. Any reason. Okay, so it's dead. That's it. That's my turn.
All right. So as I said, you this thing is not moving. It sees you come across and it turns towards you and looks at you, like green ichor coming out of its mouth, and you just slice off through its thick neck and decapitate it. That being said, you see as the head falls to the floor, off to your northeast, as you kind of turn around to look towards the other one that you know is there,
Mhm.
you see another one melding out of the
Yay.
earth, and it moves towards you, Stone Skull.
Come at me, bro.
Oh, he is. It is a 14 hit.
Does not.
Well, the 12 and the 9 are also not going to hit. So it lunges forward with a bite, and you dodge it very easily. You were able to bring up your sword and parry both of its claws as it reaches around towards you.
Yeah.
Max, you are up.
After getting
Hammered.
eviscerated,
Seriously.
I kind of imagine like clutching my wounds, and stumbling, behind where combat is, and taking, reaching out into my hand, and kind of humming. I imagine, healing energy coalesces, in my hand, and I actually take my second hand and grab it and actually like kind of extend it, like grow it out a little bit, and cast that as a second.
Nice.
That's plus your ability modifier, right? For healing.
It should
Yeah.
be on
It's
your.
on the first one plus your
Yeah.
spellcasting ability.
Yeah, I
Oh,
cast it
okay,
as
so
a
that-
second level spell, but it didn't do anything.
Yeah, you have to change it to off of a spell card and change it to an attack. and
Yeah,
there's a
change it
healing
to an
field.
attack.
But I have to have an attack for a first and second level spell.
No,
But
Hey,
so
there's a
in
little
your
section in there that says add a higher level, so
Yeah.
that you can put the 1d8 in there.
on your spells on the spells page, if you
Yeah.
click on where it says Cure Wounds little cog, if you click that, you can change it
Yeah.
from a spell card to an attack. And then when you do that on your core page, you'll be able to click on it and
don't-
it'll heal. Okay. That's what
No, I'm
Havoc
saying
was saying.
I don't know where I'm clicking, is what I'm saying.
Here, I'll help
Alright.
you. One second.
Okay.
Let's see. No. Spells page, right? You see your
Yeah.
cure
Yep.
wounds. You see where it says output spell card.
Yeah. Oh,
Change
okay.
that, and then once you change
Gotcha.
that,
It'll
now
show
you'll just
up on
go
your front
down.
page.
You see, oh, it's already put in for you. So now, if you close the cog and just go back to your main page and click on Cure Wounds, it'll give you the option to cast it as a second level.
Mhm.
Well, it gave me that option
Mm.
before.
Oh,
Now
wait.
it's a touch.
Is there? Wait, there's a place in there for healing. I think
It's
Output.
messed up.
Oh, spell attack. None.
Just
well,
click where
there
it says
was.
Cure Wounds, and it'll add that heal. It shouldn't
Healing?
matter on that. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a thing right there for healing above the add ability mod to damage or healing, and you put in
Mhm.
1d8.
Okay. And then it'll auto. Okay.
And then
where
your
it says
spell
higher level
cast.
cast. No, go back to it. Go back to it.
Okay.
It'll say higher. Where's it at?
At the bottom.
Above your spell description there, where it says higher level cast damage.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Change that none to a d8.
Yep.
Plus
1d8.
4.
Their second level cast won't get the
Oh.
spell casting modifier.
Oh, so it's a flat plus 4 no matter what.
Yeah, just on your initial, like your first level, whatever slot is 1d8 plus your modifier, and then above that, using a spell slot of second or higher, the healing is increased by 1d8, just a flat d8.
Gotcha. All right, let's try that then. Level 2.
There you go.
goes.
That's the way
Hey.
it's supposed to look. There you go.
Yeah.
And then both those numbers
Much better.
together. So that is
Gotcha.
20 healing.
Nice. I'll take it.
All right.
All right. You do anything else for your turn?
I am going to have another like low guttural, like harmonious whistle, and put that in that back to Stone Skull. Send that magic back his direction.
All right. More bardic inspiration for you. So
Yeah.
you're able to see the multiple slash and piercing wounds kind of seal themselves and stop the bleeding as he heals himself, and then the whistle comes out for him again.
Imagine this to be sharper, just a much more terse.
I'm kind of annoyed with this situation here.
Finish that.
Right.
Finish.
So as this is all going on, Steve, you're able to catch out the corner of your eye as you as Stone Skull takes down this one in front of you. I think, yeah, you were the one that did it.
Mhm.
To your east, you see another shape coming out of the stone and moving towards you, Steve. He is going to attack you.
Another one.
And another one. Highest one was a 13. Does that hit?
Negative, Batman.
All right, so 7, 13, and
Negative
12 all miss you. So it lunges in. You definitely just kind of dodge and dance around it as it attempts to attack you and is unable to make contact. Finally, Arune's turn.
The long-awaited. Yeah, I will just launch a volley at the guy up here by Terra.
All right.
16 to
Yeah, that's
16
gonna hit.
hits.
10 damage.
All right. Anything else?
Yeah, I'll just use I'll use my second wind. Why not?
Nice.
Back to full.
All right. And that's it.
Yep.
All right, cool. So as you seeing this combat unfurling around you as these creatures just meld out of the ground around you, you launch an arrow and sink home hard into this thing's chest in front of Terra. This thing looks very hurt from your one arrow, and then you kind of take a deep breath and feel your stamina return from that initial set of combat. I think that's when you got damaged. And this guy is still alive, so it's his turn. Well, seeing Terra in front of him is going to swing at you again. Highest one was a 14.
Nope.
All right, so a 7, 14, and 7 are not going to hit. What happened to my baller ass rolls? It's only on Willie, I guess.
Yeah, I'm just here.
He's just here to eat damage, I guess.
Love puppet.
So as this thing lunges at you once again, all three of its attacks are unable to hit home on the blind girl. Steve.
All right. While deftly dodging this guy's attacks, I'm going to observe him and look for a squishy. I need a deep roll. God fucking damn it!
It rolled a 4.
Yes. All right.
Finally, it
rolled a
worked.
4.
Reveal your mysteries to me.
Didn't look very hard, but it wasn't trying to hide it either.
All right. I'm poking it.
You hit it. Where's that? That's so stupid. It rolled a 4 and a 9. God. Okay.
right.
So that gets sneak attack on it, right? Because your
Yeah.
thing.
Sneak
All
attack
right.
for a
That's what, 13 damage?
minute.
So
Yes.
as you, this time as you faint, you're able to catch this thing off guard just barely. It starts to catch you at the last second and turn its head, but it's just enough time for you just to drill in and you hit a vital point and kill it instantly. Anything else?
No.
We've
Breathing
solved its
heavy.
HP puzzle.
Terra.
I don't want to blow them all yet. Let's
With your
just-
ball.
Does your earth and grass last?
Yeah, no, it's still going. I have gone. I'm just trying to decide if I want to use my action to go make it restrain or if I just want to smash this guy in front of me.
Just smash
It
it.
takes an action to move it around.
Yeah, that's kind of drawback. We're just gonna smash one in front of me.
Just smash.
Yeah, you're going to smash him. Yeah, you smash him. He's a bloody pulp.
Oh.
That was way
That
overkill.
arrow.
Pop.
Just squish.
Just drive the arrow straight down, like hit it with a hammer.
The arrow was still intact up until Terra brought the maul down and just shattered everything below it.
That costs money, bitch.
Not recovering that one.
Sorry.
God damn it.
Just hear everyone crying behind me. This arrow just got broken.
To be
I
fair,
named my
Terra had-
arrows. Philip, no.
Look,
In Terra's defense, she had no idea there was an arrow there. So, anything else, Terra?
No, we're gonna let Stone Skull handle his business.
All right, Stone Skull.
As one
You were
does. Oh my god.
This one
Uh,
does.
Let's see. Hold on. Do I have any? No, I don't have anything I can do with that, can I? No.
And
Well, only on
Zorn, I don't want to
damage.
alarm
Only
you.
on
but you're really
damage.
range of-
Holy
Well.
shit! Yeah, that is. Um. I have
Bardic Inspiration
Bardic
will not fix that.
Inspiration.
It will not fix that.
Not
fine.
ones, man. Where's
Okay.
that D100? Is that
yeah,
what it
but
is?
Oh
what do you
yeah.
want me to roll?
We'll see. 51.
Even before Zorn gets cleaved.
All right, Stone Skull. I need a dexterity check.
Dexterity check or save?
I said check.
Okay.
All right. So you miss, and as you bring the greatsword around, it clangs on the ground, and the reverberation starts to shake your greatsword out of your hand. But you're able to quickly grab hold of it again and not lose the grip on your weapon. So no ill effects because you
Okay.
you must check.
Thank God.
All right. Anything else?
Nope.
All right. The one that you just swung at is going to retaliate.
Mm-hmm.
Does a 22 hit?
Yes.
The 5 and the 9 are gonna miss those. So
Here's
he
the Bardic
reaches into.
Inspiration does work on armor class as well. Now,
Yeah, but it wouldn't be
Yeah.
enough.
just saying, future reference.
All right, so he reaches in for a bite. You're able to dodge out of the way of that. You bring your sword up to block one of his claws, but unfortunately, the other one is able to get into you before you bring your sword around
Okay.
for 3 slashing damage.
All right.
Not too bad. All right, Max, you are up, sir.
As I see the combat kind of unfolding, as I take another a scope of the battlefield, I loose one of the spears that I have behind me through the cloak that I've got, and unleash that at the creature in front of Stone Skull.
15 hits. Nice. Anything else?
No.
All right. So as you lean back and grab the spear from behind your back and launch it all in just one fluid motion, the spear flies over and sinks into this thing's chest. It is deep in there, but the thing is still barely standing. Hey, Rune.
All right. And survey says.
Loose Jorge.
Or
All right, yeah. Jorge's coming down the pike. Jorge doesn't take shit. 10 damage.
Yeah, Jorge. Describe to me how Jorge just ended this poor thing's life.
I don't think it's flashy. I think I kind of saw where the last one hit. Kind of, I imagine somewhere dead center, and he seemed to be pretty effective. And this time, I kind of hit the same spot again, but I'm like trying just to adjust a few inches, looking for that sweet spot.
Yep, and you find it and just drop this thing.
Bless you, Jorge.
I expect you to carve names into the side of your
Like my magic arrows are like Big Bertha and shit.
Havoc, do I feel any other one of those around?
No, you do not.
Yay.
I kind of let the party know and say I think that's all of them, and I go about my disposing of this trash into the earth.
What were those?
I don't know. You can give me a nature check.
I mean, I know what fucking purple shit looks like, but
I'm good at nature.
Anybody wants to check, can go ahead and do it.
nature.
Yeah, I'll check before I bury him.
I'm absolutely terrible with nature.
Hey, all right. Yeah, Tara and Arun. You recognize, you've heard kind of stories about a very smelly creature that appears somewhat, frog or amphibian-like. You know these as troglodytes. You know that their stench can cause people to lose their lunch just by being near them,
Huh,
which
I
I
worked
did.
one
I think I
Let's
dated
see.
one of those.
Ugh.
of those.
Is it really dating if you know it's going nowhere?
You know these as they're humanoid in nature or in stature, I guess. But they're like the trash cans of the humanoid race. They will eat anything they can stomach. They dwell in filth.
Just like
they're-
Willie's ex.
Jesus.
The tyranny of Fort
Yeah,
Bragg.
anybody want to smirk
Call 'em?
thirsty, smelly bastards before I bury them?
No.
For what?
Y'all know that
Stench.
y'all know that these things smell and they attack with their appendages and mouths. They do not try to use armor or weapons or anything, and they're not going to have anything of
Yeah,
value.
they're buried. Get that smell
As
out of here.
I
yeah,
do
as
wanna
they're being
search the
buried.
area, though.
Yeah, the same thing.
Everybody, give me perception checks as you look around.
Did we wake up the bats?
No, actually, surprisingly, you did not.
Hell yeah.
Okay. Let's see.
Hi.
What did you find?
We're in a row.
Who got highest? Aaron did. All right, Aaron. As you look around, you see a lot of trash. Now that you're looking around this area, it seems that they were kind of dwelling in the trash that you know that they would be. But as you kind of look over everything, you see what appears to be an overlooked pouch. And as you open it up, you see 6 ornamental gems that have a little bit of value, and then you find 8 semi-precious gems that have much more value than those.
Oh, shit.
Ooh.
The troglodytes have nothing that anyone would want near them. That's what it literally says in here.
Oh, that's hilarious. So this was like a failure on.
This was a thing here.
All right, so I'm just gonna like jingle the bag to everyone and say, "Hey, one man's trash."
Hmm.
Shit. All right, yeah, I'll pocket that and I'll make a note of it.
All right.
Let us move away from this place.
Once again, climbing down
I'll
quietly.
just say you take your time doing so, so I'm not even
Okay.
do another round of checks for expediency's sake. However, once you get back into the bat room,
The bat cave.
The
yes.
bat cave.
Yes,
I
the back.
tried-
As
tried.
we're moving back around, I'm going to ask Tara and Stone Skull what it was that they found to the south.
There was a spirit trap.
It seems
Spear
both
trap.
these passages were trapped.
I mean, what did you see on the other one?
I kind of nod over and defer to Arun.
Strange kind of parchment-like substance made to resemble the floor. Probably a pit trap of some
did-
kind.
Did you try poking it with a stick?
My God, that's the answer.
I
And
know.
then I actually look over at Tara and say, "Would you try like feeling it out? Maybe maybe we can just fill in the hole for all we know."
Yeah, let's see if we can fill that out.
Like catch you right there and like stop
Yeah.
you before you go too far.
So as you kind of feel out, Tara, you're able to tell there's clearly about 2 feet deep holes in both places that Arun seems to be kind of guiding you towards. You feel some
little
kind of metallic
X's.
substance laying at the bottom of these small holes.
Can I actually use merge with stone not to kind of fill them, but make the stone around it go over them to make a solid walking surface?
Yeah, you could.
Nice.
All right, so you clearly
No,
feel.
not that one. Sorry, not merge stone. The other
yeah,
one. Yeah, molder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So as you as you do it, you clearly feel that this is well within your grasp of your magic and sealable for the holes to make flat walking spaces.
That is convenient.
That is.
It is very
Extremely.
convenient. Too
kinda-
convenient.
I
Still
hold up
that-
someone's
believe
hand and high five it.
And
then put it
I'm-
back.
Stealthily walk over them to test them.
As you're all exiting this area, I need another round of stealth rolls.
Oh, God damn it.
With advantage because we're trying.
I didn't hear you say you were trying.
Hell
I'm
yeah.
trying. I'm always trying.
Willie, are you
Yeah, I
trying?
don't think we ever stop trying.
You got to tell me these things.
I'm gonna.
But it's enough that even with the 2 lower rolls, you're able to not alert the bats above you.
Not really sure what to trust. I'm gonna go ahead and just tap the tip of the 10-foot pole on this square in front of me before I step on it.
Tap, tap, tap. Hard flooring.
Havoc, I'm curious. In like a in like a, I don't know, 10 square foot area, how many bats inhabit that?
20 to 30, I'd say.
Oh man, that's a lot of kills.
I could take
Just
it.
saying.
Let's see.
After having seen those, the troglodytes, would I be able to infer that that's what killed the bats?
Give me an insight check.
Nope.
Even with looking at them and kind of seeing their maws, you would assume if they attacked these bats, they would leave a lot more damage than what you saw in that bat that you examined. It seemed to be one puncture hole, very precise into it, whereas the maws of these troglodytes was, filled with razor sharp teeth and such.
Okay. As we're moving forward, I'm gonna whisper to Tara. Do you feel anything else amiss with the floor?
Checking the
All right, check the floor, and everybody else give me perception checks as well, except Steve. He's not far forward yet.
Jesus. I got it.
You're like so
Hey,
confident in
he's
that
got his
ground now.
blood pumping now. You got a little bit of combat. I don't know. He's paying attention.
Ready to go.
All right, Tara, you don't feel a whole lot. You feel a lot of wall or stone outstretching around you, but nothing much else. Not being super perceptive right now. Stone Skull, as you're moving forward, you hear tapping of feet and as well as some like guttural sounds coming from your northwest. Sorry.
Oh, so over this way.
Yeah.
Okay. Make a quick gesture to let everybody know up ahead I hear something. And
As I see him make that gesture, I'm gonna put my hand across Tara's like her upper chest, like neck area, in a flat hand. It's like a hold motion.
I stop, but brush his hand off. That's inappropriate.
All right, Snowflake.
Yeah, what is this that we can like kind of see?
are those steps?
Looks like an organ.
Looks
As you're
like
kind of glancing over there, you see what appears to be steps, but you also see kind of a wrought iron spikes, almost looking like cage walls extending along the side of it. Can't quite see down to the bottom of the steps quite yet.
Okay.
What you can see, however, is a lone kobold charging you from the darkness directly at you. Roll for initiative.
You don't want to do that.
How unfortunate for him.
Ugh.
Oh God.
So it'd be
Wow.
Yeah, mine was a 4, not a 13.
Oh, what the fuck? God damn it.
Did you
Max
roll a
Wayne.
1?
No, I clicked on a number in the GM layer.
Hmm.
So I gave the number 7 initiative roll.
The circle is complete.
All right. Give me 1 second.
None of us were ready for the surprising kobold.
Another one? God damn it.
Another one.
Another one.
I mean, if he rolls lower than I do, we could just let him charge at me and I can just put him in a stranglehold.
You should probably pick him up and throw him back the way he came, just as a warning to any other kobolds.
Throw him back in the pit. 30 days in the hole.
Really? Damn it. I was hoping it was going to go after me.
So as you see this lone kobold charging you, you hear the sounds of more footsteps from back behind it, and you also hear, much like you heard with the bats earlier, you hear wings, except this sounds much larger.
I don't like it.
Use the people gonna die.
And you see what appears to be a kobold with wings moving forward towards you. 15, 20, 20, 30. He gets about right there. And that's all he does.
Which one? This guy?
The
Yeah,
gold guy, yeah.
he has wings.
Oh, he's gold.
You hear more
Yeah.
He has a
footsteps
gold
moving
background.
towards you.
Oh,
10,
he fancy.
20 right there. And you see another one. Oops. Shit. Boom. Move forward. Is that number visible to you?
Nope.
Okay, good. And he walks up, and much like you've seen with the others, he winds up a sling at you, Stone Skull. It's a 15 hit.
Does not.
So you're able to bring your sword and easily bat aside this rock that was destined for your face.
That's one.
Nope. And
That
we're
being
counting
said,
again.
let's see how high he gets this time. This one, however, is going to step forward right in front of you and bring out a dagger. That's a 14 hit.
Gasp.
Nope.
He
That's-
also misses.
That's two.
Max, it's your turn.
I am going to loose another sharp, like kind of a harmonious whistle, but to gain a rune's attention, and whistle, take down the flyer.
Hell yes.
With that, I am going to loose my blade and bring it up with one hand, and slash down across the chest of the. Oh, sorry, I should move.
I was about to say,
Here.
here, swing at the air. All right.
Yeah. The one here in front of me. Yeah.
Yeah. We know what that does.
Uh-huh. This time, this is more like of a martial step. As I come across, it's like bring the shield in front of its face to make it step back as it steps back on its heels, like kind of turn at a downward stroke, from up top, right down through its chest.
Yeah, and you just completely outperform this thing and slice down, almost bisecting it.
I imagine it's with just sheer strength. It's like a stab in and out, like just hot knife through butter.
Yeah,
Mm.
you do it.
Oh, nice.
Did you give a rune inspiration or no?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Sorry.
Chair.
Neat. All right. So yeah, you do all that. Stab this guy. He is
That is my
super
turn.
dead.
He's super
Tara.
Dead.
I actually rolled a 4. It's actually Steve's.
Oh,
Good on you being honest.
I appreciate that because I didn't catch it at all. But unfortunately, it is not Steve's turn because this guy in the back, more footsteps, patter, 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 is going to move forward towards y'all.
Rude.
Rude.
Do we see him yet?
I think
I don't know,
that's
can you
a
see him?
mistake, friend.
No.
Nope.
He's still a little far away.
Can
And
You better be dashing, that
we
son of a
hear
bitch.
how many footsteps are coming?
you hear two distinct sets of footsteps heading your way.
Okay.
Do we hear any more flapping?
You do not.
Okay.
All right.
Just the one in front of you that appears to be wanting to fly higher up into this kind of 15-foot ceiling.
Those two.
All right.
Very unfortunate.
All right, they both move. What's his range?
Mm,
20.
I need you to not go past here.
Okay, yeah, can't do it. So that being said, Steve's turn.
All right. I'm going to make my way up here. Kind of eyeball the kobold.
Ooh, that's better.
You rolled an 11.
All right. Stabby stab.
Stabby stabs, emergency stab.
Stabby,
Big
Did
stabby.
it- Didn't even
Daddy's
need
had
the
a
sneak.
program.
Somehow, through some sheer insightfulness, you fake and then come in and stab this thing in the the time of a breath. Stab it 3 times in the chest, and it just falls over, not
Ooh,
even gasping.
Da-da-da.
There's like a
Long,
common
long heart.
in there.
This thing's at 5 HP. Calm down.
We
No,
will not calm down.
Anything else, sir?
Can't
No,
calm
good.
down.
they throw
All
rocks a lot, sir.
If
Hey, Rune.
All right. Yeah, I'm going to take Willie's inspiration, draw one of my favorite arrows named Sexy Elven Arrow, and launch that right at the winged guy.
What was its name?
Sexy.
Siltus.
All right, yeah, that hits.
Temptress.
Mm-hmm. And I'm gonna go ahead and use the Bardic Inspiration to add that to the damage.
All right.
That's 1d6, right?
Correct.
Yep.
So
Mm.
13 total damage.
Yeah. Plink.
So I'm imagining in the span of this 6 seconds, it's like you whistle, point at him, I nod, just kind of casually load my favorite arrow, it goes sailing, and then you just see him like wings limp, falling like a moth.
Just poof.
You ever seen a bird hit a glass door?
You ever see it do it again?
You want to watch it happen twice?
It not only got stopped by the arrow, it also got stopped by the ground. Anything else?
Nope, I'm good.
All right. Tara.
I'm gonna step up right here and throw an earth bolt at the one right there.
All right. Unfortunately, an 8 is not
Man.
going to connect.
Sorcerer who can't throw, goddamn it.
Yeah, those
Everything
earth bolts
else?
don't like you, man.
Anything else?
No, we're not gonna waste that on some bolts. We'll just
Alright.
move on and huff about it.
All right. So as you take a few steps forward, you know these things are charging at you and kind of moving. You launch the earth bolt at it, but it kind of sidesteps out of the way and dodges the attack. Stone Skull.
I haven't got to do anything. Everything's dying in front of me. I'm gonna throw a hand axe at the one in the back.
Charge! It hits.
Mm.
Overkill.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. It's dead. Did you use your bardic inspiration on that?
Yep.
Like lick his thumb.
I'll teach you to not let me kill things.
So Stone Skull starts to get frustrated by everybody stealing all the kills. He's like, I got this. And
Why
feeling
did you
very-
kill me? Don't kill me. I'm not dead.
Oh, shit.
I'm not dead.
I meant to- there we go.
Quick fail.
Oh, no. My bad. You launch this hand axe, just flings end over end, and you don't even look at it connect. You know it was a good hit. This thing slices right through this thing's skull, lands on the other side of it, and it drops to the ground. It is super dead.
Super dead.
Dead. Max, you're up.
This one should be dead. I think that was the one I was aiming at. Yeah.
Oh, you were aiming at that one? Okay.
Yeah. 'Cause that's the only one I can see right now.
yeah, the rest are dead.
So how far? Okay.
No.
Yeah.
I want to move farther down.
To our murder tunnel.
Direction.
You
Yeah.
see one more.
Yay.
So I can move. Yeah, I got plenty of room to cover. As I watch everything fall around me. I'm going to like lean in behind the shield and step forward, and as I come through, do the same kind of opening, except this time like a straightforward lunge and try and drive my sword through it. Ooh.
Ooh. That attack's going to miss, unfortunately.
We know what that is.
Well, we know what that is. Give me a dex check, please.
Oh, sir.
Uh,
Sir.
I thought his was a 51.
I'm alright at this.
Yeah, you're real good at those. So
Same range.
yeah, it's 50 to 59. So,
Oh.
so as you reach in to kind of stab at this thing, you start to lose your footing, and your blade points down to the ground. Once again, the shock starts to squeeze the weapon out of your hand, but you're able to clutch onto it and keep hold of it, but you do miss.
That's it.
All right. Well, this one, seeing the blade kind of hit down between its legs, it kind of looks at you and just quickly stabs at you with a dagger. It's a 17 hit.
It does.
Hey, all right. So, in a frantic trying to get you away from him, he reaches up and stabs you, and it does a good 5 piercing damage to you.
Nice.
Almost max damage on that. All right, Steve.
All right. Missed me. Having started the other one, I think I know how to. Oh,
Oh, he's not gonna. Nah, he's gonna roll a 7. Doesn't matter.
He overextended.
Yeah. He is completely locked eyes frantically with Max, and you come in and just blindside
Yeah, just
him.
like.
And,
Yeah, I got no flavor for that. Sorry.
all right, so you, this kobold was reaching out and poking at Max with his little dagger, kind of with both hands. He obviously looks terrified of this dragonborn in front of him. And as another one, you sneak around the side, easily coming up next to him and stabbing him through the neck with a very sly flourish as you do so. And it falls to the ground dead.
That's me done.
And Stone Skull's gonna walk up to this one and put his foot on his chest and grab the hand axe and say, "That's mine."
I'm frantically looking for my favorite arrow.
You will find it
I'll
still
just-
in the chest of the flying.
Alright.
kobold.
Odds it's broken, evens it's good.
No,
No,
it's
no,
broken.
no.
You'll have to make another favorite hero. Everybody give me perception checks except Tara.
I'm too busy crying over
As
my
y'all are looking around, I'm
Indeed.
going to say, that'll show the 4 of them.
Yep. Only
Uh,
4.
Arun, as you're, kind of upset about your arrow, you happen to glance to your kind of north, Max. You also see this. You see rummaging around down below you off of this
Down
small
here?
cliff down into this other area. You see a blue kind of four-legged drake-looking creature mulling around, kind of looking up at you, but unable to climb the sheer cliff down in the bottom there.
I look down at the pit, kind of wave hi to it.
I take one of my spears out of the same quiver and look to the rest of the party and point down on 3.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm ready.
I'm actually curious. Can I just like kick one of the kobold bodies off the side first? Because it's
Use that as a
basically
distraction.
meat.
You
Basically
could.
dead meat, right? Yeah, I'm gonna
Yeah.
throw the winged kobold down there.
All right, where's the wing one?
Right here.
This guy.
So bloop, it falls down. As it hits the ground, you see the one that you saw rush over to it and begin devouring its flesh. You hear 2 more distinct sets of footsteps rather, as 2 other ones rush in for the feeding time that's going on.
So we doing this?
We're doing
Left
this.
to right.
No,
Yep.
just
Closest
you guys
to-
get ready, but back from the ledge.
Oh, okay.
Oh, y'all are so mean.
Just make a 10-foot say barrier from this guy. Yeah, you should all be fine.
All right.
We don't even need to roll for this. You're gonna slaughter these poor guys. They can't fight back.
I'm rolling.
Mm-hmm.
Oh dear, poor guard drakes. Yeah. Oh, and bursting arrow, really? Is that necessary? Oh God.
I want
These
meat
poor
splatter.
Stone Skull's looking around, trying to figure out what to do, and I'm gonna make an improvised weapon and pick up the kobold to my left and hurl it at one of the drakes right here.
Okay.
How much damage does a kobold's body do?
Depends on how hard you throw it. Give me a strength check.
You want a strength check? Okay.
Yeah, everybody hits. You have advantage on these attacks. These things are completely ignoring you, devouring the kobold.
That's pretty good, I
You
think.
throw it really hard. Give me a 2d4 plus your strength mod.
Ooh.
Plus 4.
Max it out. Come on.
Damn near. Damn near.
One hand, just pick it up.
I got
Yeah,
this.
so you just pelt these things with arrows and spears, and the explosion that hits in the middle of them.
And
These things just
body.
kobold's
In the
bodies.
kobold's body. I didn't want to give up my hand axe.
Look at the bones.
They're all dead. We're not going to even calculate damage. They're all dead. You monsters.
Mhm. They would have done the same given the opportunity.
We would have been lunch to them.
The one who wins
Yeah.
a fight is the one who gets the most violent first.
Can I just say I'm really proud of feeding it the corpse?
That's very good.
Everybody give me perception checks except Tara, because it's sight again.
Nope.
Yep.
Ooh.
Yep.
Damn,
What
man,
is
you can't see in the dark.
thumping?
Arun and Stone Skull, as you kind of look around the area, off to the southwest wall up here-ish, you see a rack along the wall. It looks like implements that were used for training these drakes, like long poles with lassos at the end used for snaring, controlling the young drakes. You see leashes and collars and sharp prods, mock weapons made of wood, and human-sized dummies stitched out of sailcloth and stuffed with straw, with very ridiculous expressions painted on their faces.
You know, we could have used those and made one of these our pets.
Oh, too late now.
These are beasts of violence used to attack the innocent people of Greenest. They
I'm
deserve no quarter.
okay.
That's
Down with your full
I was
strength.
gonna say I'm a beast of violence too, but then he said a greenest, and I was like, no, never mind. I'm not saying
Yeah. I'll use it on the other guys.
that.
So as you kind of look here, you see another stairwell leading off, especially Max and Stone Skull you're standing beside. You also know the way the path come back. Examine the area, you see the pit seems to be a holding area for those young guard drakes. But before we venture any further in, that is where we're going to end for the night.
Yay.
Hooray.
Damn,
Uh,
I got
do we-
bloodlust going.
Nice
Do-
ending song.
Do we hear anything? Do we hear any people around or anything like that? Any movement?
Give me perception checks.
What did you write?
Ooh.
Damn.
Stone
LOL
Skull,
wrecked.
you hear
Alright.
muttering and as well as some wing beats off in the distance. Arun, you know they're coming from beyond the stairwell to the southwest, and you hear at least 10 different creatures.
Yay.
So they're coming from that direction I made an arrow.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
The bloodlust isn't over yet, boys.
But that is where we're ending for the night. So
You're a
Bloodlust will be
bastard,
quick.
All right.
Just making sure y'all come back next week.
So I'm just gonna like type a note on the page.
Yay.
10 plus.
You had to show them that that shit existed. Now the map's going to be covered.
Mhm.
All right. Back in a sec. All right, guys. So that's going to be the end of our stream. Thank you all so very much for watching. Do not forget Wednesday, 7:30, Civil War Empire continuation. This is session 2 for them. Then we will be back. Let's see. We're here Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then we're off Saturday. So hope to see you guys here. Wednesday is going to be a lot of fun. I will be the DM once again, doing some homebrew stuff. So if you're inclined to tune in, I would greatly appreciate all of you being here. Otherwise, thank you again for being here tonight, and I hope to see you again very, very soon.